See you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Come in the line. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.
Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to NWP Wednesday Night Live. I am your host this week, Eric Easteb, joined as always by Jarrett Lundberg, aka the Iceberg. Do you celebrate Mardi Gras in May, Jarrett? What is around your neck?
So I just went through a move and I found a bunch of old beads from 2008 Chicagoland. And if you can see from, it's not too much a glare, NASCAR on speed back in the day.
You didn't have to flash the NASCAR on speed desk to get them?
Oh, that's the great part. Some college girl did it for me.
Wow, work smarter, not
I was
harder,
like,
Jarrett.
I was like 10. It was great. I was like, whoa.
All right. Wow. Danny B is joining us as well. Danny B talks. Danny, how's it going out there in Tennessee?
It's going good. I do not have any beads, unfortunately. I did go fishing over the weekend. I went on Sunday morning and caught some nice fish. So I've had a good week.
That's awesome. That's great. And we are joined this week by a very special guest. Grant, Auto Racing Analytics, is back with us. Dude, it's awesome to see you ahead of, I guess, what used to be your home race before Iowa was added to the Cup schedule. But how's it going, man? How you doing this week?
I'm doing great. Can't wait for what I'm hoping is going to be one of the 3 best races of the year, and can't wait to talk about it. Best track in NASCAR.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, I think both Kansas races, especially the spring race, lived up to all of the hype. So this is going to be a good time. Grant's got some awesome stats and numbers that he's going to share with us a bit later on. And we're going to get things started with some Texas Motor Speedway talk. My home track was the destination this weekend, Sketchy Texas, as it has become commonly referred to. Joey Logano, what is it about Joey Logano winning wild and wacky regular season races? A dozen cautions out at Texas Motor Speedway, which is actually below average for this track in the next gen era. But Logano was able to get the race win, even got complimented by Chipper Jones. That was perhaps the greatest trophy he collected this weekend. Not the cowboy hat, but a compliment from a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. The beef has been squashed. We'll start with you on this, Jared.
I don't think I saw the Chipper Jones stuff, actually.
He was all up in Logano's business post Talladega, and then after Texas, he sought to make amends, it seemed. So, yes. Jarrett, we'll start off with you. Texas Motor Speedway, Joey Logano gets the win. Didn't dominate the race, but felt like he had a pretty good car and really strong on restarts as usual.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people trying to call it a Mickey win because he wasn't the best car out there, but it's like the entire race, he was top 5, top 10, and the results haven't shown it. And so finishing wise, this is definitely, I believe, has been the worst season defending champion has had in like X amount of years or something like that. But at least from the eye test, it seems like the speed has been better. It's just something happens because he's been so good at the stages and the stage points. So you kind of just felt like, at some point somebody of like his talent and caliber break through. I know we have our accountability session later, but I'm just gonna be open and I'm upfront with it right now, because every year I like to pick one bold pick to miss the playoffs, like the famous William Byron one from a couple of years ago.
Yes, I know where this is going.
Yeah, I said screw it. Let's do Joey Logano. I know it's probably not going to happen, but there's an actual argument to be made. That he's the weak link right now, especially at Penske and all that. I admit it, I'm wrong. Penske seems like as a total team, if you even include Barry in the 21, I'm still getting used to that. Has been pretty solid this year. More, I would say, as a whole team compared to last year. I mean, you look at Ryan Blaney and how well he's, up there in the points generally, and he's doing that with 4 DNFs so far. Cindric so far seems like best season. Barry wrecked out while leading. So like the Penske team as a whole, they've been on it as of late, and this season, I think they've been better, honestly, overall this season than they were last.
They're started faster than they did last season. Remember last season, the narrative the first couple months was, when is Ford going to win a race? And I think it was Keselowski, right? At Darlington was the first Ford win of the season around this time last year. So Ford is definitely fired off faster. And what I find really ironic is that 3 of the 4, if you count the Wood Brothers, Penske cars have won a race this year. Arguably the fastest of the group, Ryan Blaney, is the only one who's been shut out of victory lane thus far. Danny, what was your reaction to Joey Logano? I think you and I both had Logano making the playoffs in our preseason pick, so we're good there. But what was your reaction?
I mean, he had to win eventually, so I guess we finally got the Logano win out of the way. The Band-Aid's been ripped off. But yeah, it is weird. Blaney's been so consistent, but yet I feel like this is also something that he can do too. He can take forever to get his win. It's coming. I don't know when, but he's going to get it at some point. But yeah, Logano finally getting, the win to start the season, which is so ironic after, last week getting the DQ and then now gets the win. All right, don't have to worry about that no more, and we're good to go. Back, he's in the playoffs, and it is an odd year, but I've seen crazier things happen. We could be setting up for a Logano repeat.
Oh gosh, it's too early. It's too early for that, Danny. Too early. Yeah, Ryan Blaney is so fast on the long runs. Unfortunately for him, Texas and Darlington, for that matter, 2 races, I thought he had the best car. They came down to short runs at the end, and that's what cost him. Grant, your reaction to Joey Logano winning, and where does he maybe stack up amongst some of his Team Penske teammates as far as overall performance is concerned this year?
Yeah, so I'm super impressed with Team Penske this year because historically they don't start the year fast. It's not what they do. They end the year fast, and they're fast on short tracks. But this year that's just not the case. They're the only team that has all 4 cars, if I include the Wood Brothers, inside the top 10 for Auto Racing Analytics optimal lap model, our new speed metric on 30 lap runs in particular. Blaney is 3rd in that metric. They've been very fast this year all the way around. Logano himself at Texas was the 11th fastest car, which shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody. I mean, we know that he wasn't the fastest guy out there, but this is what this team does. I mean, we think about all the races that Jimmy and Chad won over the years where they weren't really that fast. They just kind of hung around all day, waited for everybody to beat themselves, got good at the end, a restart went right, and all of a sudden you find yourself in victory lane. It happens all the time. Yeah, no, I've been super impressed with the Team Penske cars this year. One thing I do want to touch on real quick is we talk about Logano on restarts, and historically back early in his career, he was an excellent restarter. But in recent years, next gen era, that just has not been the case at all. He was 27th in restarts in 2024. So it just hasn't been there. But this year, he's been off to a better start. Texas was his best restarting day of the year, gaining 11 spots on the day. So a very impressive performance out of him.
And he had to work for it too. Michael McDowell was able to nab the lead despite being on only 2 fresh tires, and then ran Joey Logano all the way down off the racing surface down into the marbles on the inside wall there. Logano kind of getting a taste of his own medicine there with that sharp block there from Michael McDowell. But I want to talk
badass. I got to admit, real quick, that was a pretty badass pass that Logano made.
It was like we'll talk more about Texas Motor Speedway and the quality of racing. Like, I don't know that Texas is I don't know that it produces good racing, but the past couple of years, it's produced a lot of those kinds of moments that make you go, whoa, either the leader, Josh Berry, wiping out on his own, Kyle Busch going forward in 3rd, spinning out, or in this case, Michael McDowell losing all of his momentum and having to throw the block from hell to try and stop Logano, and almost made it work.
The McDowell thing was just sad. You knew he wasn't faster than all those cars, but somehow he was out there. You thought maybe there's a hope and prayer, something wacky can happen. Michael can win. Oh, no, there goes Logano. It's over. And then you're like, you're accepting, okay, that was fun while it lasted. And then bam, he just like tries to imitate 08 for himself all of a sudden. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the wacky thing was McDowell beating Larson on that one restart where Kyle Larson didn't get the best jump. He didn't have Blaney there to push him. And it was, I think, Reddick pushing McDowell that got them clear into turn 1. That was the wacky moment where you're like, oh, like McDowell's race, older tires should have been over already. But because of that great restart, he gave himself a shot at it and just just didn't have enough car at the end to hang on. Before we move on to some other top finishers, though, I do want to shout out our lovely viewers who have begun filing in here for our episode of NWP. We've gotten a bunch of super chats as well already. Our first super chat stage break is coming up roughly halfway through the show, so we will for sure read and react to your comments then, but we really appreciate your support. Larson had a skill issue I see in the chat. So I don't know, that's, I mean, we can talk a little bit about Kyle Larson because he did lead the most laps in this race, I think for the third straight year. I want to say last season, Texas turned into a disaster for him. He had a loose wheel on pit road. I think later he got caught up in a crash. This time around, he was up there, had a shot, was in control of the race. Just one restart did not go his way. I don't know, any reactions to Larson maybe having the fastest car, one of the fastest cars, but not getting the job done?
I mean, it seems like a lot of people were saying that the 71 had jumped the restart, but I mean, even those around him for the most part were like, it seems like it was pretty bang bang, if anything. But I so wanted Michael McDowell to win that race. I'm like, not upset that Joey did.
A lot of people did, I think.
But I'm just, I when it was like, 10 or so to go and whatever, and like even, 7 or so, I'm like, all right. And then it's like, by the time you get to 4 to go, you're like, that could actually happen if, with the dirty air and the blocking and everything. But I mean, at least
we saw Austin Dillon win with Tyler Reddick behind him. So,
I mean, at least he won went out in a blaze of glory instead of just, puttering into the back of the pack, kind of like the Damage 24 did at one point during the race, where he was like holding up the entire top 17 or 18. And then 10 laps later, by the way, William Byron is P11 right now.
It's 2 years in a row at Texas. McDowell has wiped out in a blaze of glory, as you could say, going for the win. So, I mean, one of these years he'll finish a race in the Lone Star State. But let's transition quickly to second place finisher Ross Chastain. I think we could have an interesting conversation around Team Trackhouse, broadly speaking. Chastain said after the race that Trackhouse's Saturday speed, their unload speed at the beginning of the weekend, is, quote, terrible. He said that all three drivers are not comfortable in qualifying. And I think we kind of saw that. But Suarez and Chastain grinded all day. They both get top 10s. Chastain, obviously, second. So they get good finishes. That's kind of been the story of Ross this year. I don't think he has a top 5 car ever, but he's scratched together some 6th, some 7th, a second place finish. He's teetering on the top 10 in points right now. I'll start with you on this, Grant. What have you seen from Trackhouse this year? Is the speed truly lacking? Are the drivers and crew chiefs just getting the absolute most they possibly can out of those cars?
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this because this is maybe one of the most interesting topics to me in the sport right now. I actually just made a YouTube video on Auto Racing Analytics' new channel about some of the things that I'm noticing over at Trackhouse, particularly in the pit crew department. But now I feel like we need to make another one talking about the speed department because, my goodness, I can't even understand what's happening. So right now, Ross Chastain has what is the 18th fastest car in the series. And he's put that thing, is he top 10 in points right now?
He's 11th.
Yeah. Suarez is no better. He's the 22nd fastest car on non-drafting ovals. And SVG is, he's faster than Cody Ware. So that's good. The issue with all of that is Ross Chastain continues to be an elite level driver despite this equipment. So this guy is doing something that is completely unheard of. So the most positions someone has ever net on restarts in one season is Ryan Blaney back in 2022. He netted 121, I believe. Right now, Ross Chastain has gained 74 positions on restarts to start the season.
Wow.
He maintains or improves his position 91% of restarts. So there's only 1 out of 10 restarts does he actually go backwards. I mean, the guy's been a menace all year on restarts. That's 10% better than anybody else. If they could get him a car instead of a Kubota underneath of him, I would love to know what would happen. But yeah, he's a talent for sure.
That's a point I think we've heard other folks mention. The Ford engines are all made by Roush Yates. The Toyota engines all come out of TRD. But the Chevy engines are split between Hendrick and ECR. And I think it's clear at this point the Hendrick engines maybe have a slight advantage. That's obviously what Hendrick Motorsports runs. And we know that's now what Spire Motorsports runs. And we've seen them take a huge leap in the past year or so. But the ECR guys are the RCRs, the track houses, the colleagues. And I feel like that's become a almost common complaint now, is that they're just lacking speed. Like they might have the balance down okay, but at these bigger tracks, especially, they're at a slight disadvantage there. And I feel like that's also what like Chastain and Suarez were kind of getting at this weekend. Slightly off topic, but Isaac V24 in the chat says, great job on that video, by the way, Auto Racing Analytics.
Thanks.
So
Appreciate it.
I know a lot of folks check that out. What am I looking at here on the screen? What's in the center of the screen here for our YouTube audience?
This is an Auto Racing Analytics team rankings graphic, and this is how I like to present my stats because it makes it completely visual. If you guys want to go look at the stats, I did a promo code on autoracinganalytics.com. All the stats are available on there. Sign up for the 1,000 horsepower membership, and if you use code NWP, it's just $1 for the month.
Oh,
and
wow, look at that.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check it out while we're listening to this and follow along with me, go over to autoracinganalytics.com. All these are on there. But this one's from Trackhouse, and so we can visually see how the drivers are performing. So on long run speed, Chastain mid-pack just ahead of, or long run and short run speed, Chastain mid-pack just ahead of Suarez, and Suarez a little bit slower on the long runs. But we can see over on the intermediate tracks, Suarez has Chastain beat in raw speed. Short tracks, though, Chastain's been quick this year. Then we see on restarts, Ross has been second to none. Passing and defending, Ross and Suarez have both been pretty good. Historically, Ross Chastain, yes, is the best defender in the Cup Series. He's had a couple bad days this year. Particularly Miami was just an atrocious day for his defending metrics. So those are gonna get a lot better, I think. But you'll notice he and Suarez are pretty close there. And then the pit crews as well and the crashing metrics. So the closer you are to the edge of the circle, the better for all stats. And we may show a few more of these throughout the night, but if you guys want to go look at those, autoracinganalytics.com, code NWP.
In this case, I'm just trying to get clarification. Is Ross great at crashing or great at not crashing? I'm just trying to clarify that.
Crashing. We'll see if that holds for the rest of the year, because historically it doesn't. But so far he's great at not crashing.
That's great. That's awesome. We appreciate that visual there. And yes, I will shout out as well. Code NWP for NASCAR Weekly Podcast at autoracinganalytics.com. That's awesome. That's exciting. Definitely go check that out. Some great visualizations there of some full season team and driver data. Trackhouse, though, second place for Ross, I think 9th for Daniel, maybe 10th. I forget exactly. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. Decent results, all things considered, but the speed definitely lacking. Something to watch as the season continues. Guys, there were a lot of moments at Texas that we could spend probably half an hour each dissecting, analyzing, talking ramifications. Like Kyle Busch, man, looked like he had a top 5 going. Crashes in the closing laps. That was a huge bummer. We already mentioned Josh Berry wrecking from the lead. There was a big moment I felt in the mid portion of stage 3 during that cycle of green flag pit stops where Jesse Love spun just after several leaders had made their pit stops and were already a lap down. It kind of ruined what could have been good days for Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece. I think Byron and Elliott may have also been impacted, though they had already, Elliott was only up there because of 2 tires and Byron had damage from a pit road incident. But Gibbs, Hocevar, and Preece in particular, I think had top 6, top 7 runs going, and unfortunately don't get the results. In fact, we then saw Preece and Hocevar get caught up in a crash in the back of the pack. Jared, any big moments from this race that you wanted to spend a little extra time analyzing?
I mean, the one that we had kind of talked about last week after Talladega, I'm going to say it again. I mean, I'll put the points on the board, and we can wait a long time for his name to pop up. Brad Keselowski's cooked so far. I mean, they can get a win at some point, but I mean, it's really bad.
Sorry.
I went through.
He's just in mourning.
I went through and I looked at like the non-stage points. Like if you took the stage points out and just look finishing, and Brad Keselowski is something like 2nd or 3rd worst. Like Cody Ware, I know was behind him, but I think SVG might be ahead of him with just points scored or near him. I don't have it off the top of my head. He's pitiful right now. I mean, just absolutely pitiful.
I think, did we use that word last week? That word's
No.
making a comeback. I heard that word somewhere, and I made a remark that word's like that's a fun word.
Someone
Pitiful.
said it in a super chat last week, I think.
Yeah,
That's what it was. Thank you for the callback on that one. Yeah, very sad start to the year for Brad Keselowski, a former champion. It felt like last season, it's like he was trending up. Last season, he had all those second place finishes. He won that race at Darlington, his first win as a driver owner, and this year through 11 weeks, not a single top 10.
I mean, he's still the same driver that I would not be shocked if we're just watching a race. All of a sudden, here's Brad contending for the win again. It could come out of randomness, but at this point, the biggest win that him and Kyle Busch have is getting to announce the return to Homestead for the championship weekend,
which was a pretty sick video, not gonna lie. Well, yeah. So I was talking with Brennan Poole on my other show this week, Xfinity Series driver, and he kind of made the observation. He thinks a lot of Brad's struggles have to do with losing Matt McCall over the offseason to Spire. Matt McCall, I believe, previously was at Chip Ganassi, had success with Kurt Busch. He joined RFK Racing and was working with Brad Keselowski, and then he left for Spire. Spire, of course, we know is scooping up a lot of talented people on and off track, and ultimately, Keselowski signed Jeremy Bullins, who he had success with back in his days with Penske, won a few races back in 2020. I think they made the championship for that year. I may be mistaken. But more recently, Bullins had been with Harrison Burton and the Wood brothers, and obviously the results there had been iffy, to say the least. So a lot of he pointed out that maybe the crew chief swap from McCall to Bullins. Brendan Poole at least spoke very highly of Matt McCall and felt like he was maybe a difference maker there the past couple of seasons. So that's another storyline perhaps to watch, because this weekend at Texas, both Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece had top 5 runs going at one point or another, and Keselowski was never really in the ballpark, unfortunately. So no, that's a good point to bring up there, Jarrett. Danny, were there any big moments in this race that got your attention?
Really outside of the big crashes, like it still felt like, to me, just what we're used to seeing now at Texas Motor Speedway. This car, as much as we like to gripe on this car, it only races well at 1.5-mile tracks. I don't know what else to say about it, but it does put on the best showings on this track, which this wasn't even the kind of track it was designed to produce the best showings, but it does. It's gonna. I'm really looking forward. We're on a good run. We got Texas, we got Kansas, and then we'll have Wilkesboro in between. But then we'll got the Coke 600. And it's a good stretch for this car.
Nashville, Michigan. Yeah, there's a lot of big intermediates coming up.
A lot of good tracks coming up. If you want to watch some of the best racing of the season, tune in now. Get your nostalgia fix in for Wilkesboro. You're not going to see a good race.
Well, it is the All-Star race, so you'll get to see the Marcus Smith caution shake things up at some point or another. Grant, I'll ask you about this. Some notable finishers we haven't mentioned yet. Eric Jones, 5th, his best run of the year by far. Ricky Stenhouse, 6th. Austin Dillon came home 7th, shows you that RCR had some speed. John Hunter Nemechek, 8th. That's both legacy cars finishing 5th and 8th. Easily their best showing since at least the Daytona 500. Any names there, or perhaps another name that jumped out at you that seemed to have more speed than we're used to seeing?
Yeah, I'll talk about the legacy cars. As a few of you probably know, I've worked with Legacy in the past. No longer doing that, but it was a great run and enjoyed my time there. But ultimately, I'm still a college student, so I can't fully commit to a race team full time. But maybe someday. But what I can say is I'm not shocked to see them building something, because I think that team has great potential, and this doesn't come as a huge surprise to me. Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek were the 16th and 17th fastest cars in the Texas race, respectively, on 30-lap runs, according to Auto Racing Analytics' optimal lap model. And I'm surprised to say Eric Jones is the 21st fastest car in the series this year, which so far is a pretty sizable jump for that team. And I mean, last year they were nowhere near that. They're 20th quick on the intermediate tracks. I think they're making a real step forward. I think that they're at best a fringe playoff contender team that could back into a win by accident. But I think you give them one more year and they might mess around a little bit and surprise a few people.
So I noticed with Jones, I think Nemechek had a penalty as well on pit road, but I know Eric Jones had 2 pit road penalties, one for speeding, one for maybe equipment interference or
Yep.
an uncontrolled tire. I don't recall. Is that, I don't know if you followed them closely this year or maybe even going back to last year when you were more connected to the team, but like, has pit road been an issue for them? Has that set them back more than maybe other teams, or have you noticed?
I can't say that I remember off the top of my head, but I can tell you because I do keep track of that somewhere. Um,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just
yeah,
wonder because
it's
Jones, like,
okay.
he passed a lot of cars
He did.
considering the setbacks that he experienced. That's what impressed me the
So
most.
I just tracked speeding penalties, and so far, in the 2025 season, Jones and Nemechek both do rank as one of the 10 most penalized teams in the
I could
on
believe it.
season. So
Got to
I
clean
guess
that
that's
up.
not shocking. Nemechek is he's actually getting a speeding penalty in 1 out of every 5 races, so that's not
Oof,
optimal.
not great.
But yeah, it's definitely not a 0 number.
Interesting. No, that's good. That tells me all I need to know. That proves my eye test to at least some degree. Well, gentlemen, let's talk about Texas for a few moments before we move on to the ratings and some of our poll and other segments. But Texas Motor Speedway obviously has a poor reputation ever since it was reconfigured and repaved in 2017. But I said this earlier. Over the past couple of seasons, especially, while the racing hasn't been great, it has given us some memorable highlight reel moments. So I want to pose the question first to you, Jarrett. Texas Motor Speedway is still an unpopular track amongst core fans and drivers for that matter. But is Texas actually a decent track? And should anything change?
Ah,
Notice I didn't say good. I said decent.
Yeah.
I couched it a little bit.
That's the thing. I can't say decent yet. I could say it's at best. Like,
We'll take it.
should anything change though? Yeah.
That's the real
Hang the
question.
banner. It's
The-
not
the-
the worst.
the fact
notice-
that this car is better at these type of tracks helps Texas a little bit more now compared to the past.
That is true. I noticed this week that
Yeah.
Big Hoss, the big TV, didn't have any LED panels missing. Like they've upkept the place a little better lately. Texas is on the come up. The bare minimum.
I got to ask you though, Eric. What was the food situation like? I know you had some Texas Twinkies there. Have they made upgrades compared to last year in that aspect of it?
I don't remember what was there before. That was the restaurant in the garage area. It's a Hutchins barbecue, and they had a delicious, Texas Twinkie, which for those of you who didn't see my video, it's a giant jalapeno wrapped in bacon with a barbecue glaze stuffed with brisket and cream cheese. Delicious. Absolutely stunning. I didn't explore much of the food beyond that other than the typical Texas chains outside of the track, but the Texas Twinkie was pretty damn good.
I'll kind of finish the point I was going with though. To change it,
Please do.
No,
You don't want them to change it.
Well, I do, but the problem is that everyone's looking for a quick fix, and we're not going to get a quick fix, right? We're not like everyone's like, we need to do this, we need to do that. I would have loved if they stayed at the pre-2017 layout. I think that was okay. Like, I don't have the bad thoughts of Texas pre, 2000. You name what 2000 year. I was not alive yet when Wilkesboro got taken off for it. And I wasn't watching NASCAR during the Furco lawsuit that got Rockingham, taken off with the Texas date and all of that stuff. And I don't think of it that way. I think of the 2007 race. I think of that, both of them kick-ass finishes. Even the 2015 races I thought were pretty good. But that's going to take 4, 5, 10, depending on the compound years to really come in. People want a super speedwayify it. We don't need another super speedway. We do not need a quarter or nearly a quarter of the schedule being super speedways. Do I like it? No. Do I think the racing was all that good? No. Do I think it was better than probably? I can name 3 tracks right off the bat right now that Texas is better than right now racing wise. Bristol,
huge.
Martinsville, and Richmond.
That's amazing.
Wild.
Those
to admit that's true.
And it has nothing to do with the track. It has everything to do with the car. But that's just the truth of it. If in the grand scheme of things, fixing Texas is not high on the list right now.
I agree with Jarrett, and because what he just said of why those other tracks that are good tracks are bad, because of this car. What's going to happen? We panic and we change a track. NASCAR is going to gradually also make a new car in a few years. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. They will do something. And so then we will screw up another track, or we risk auto clubbing it and lose the track somehow after say we're going to make changes to it. And then you just ruined a track because trying to fix what's really the problem of a car.
Danny, you brought that up. I saw today Reddit, Twitter was talking about it. A Hauler Talk podcast had said that like apparently they're really looking into 750 for next year. So like I don't know if it'll change anything, but it's like there's stuff that's going to change. Texas is really, honestly, there's probably other tracks that races better too. I really think that the Texas race this past weekend was better than Talladega the week before.
I would agree. Looking at the chat, sorry. Oh, I was going to say, looking at the chat, when I asked earlier if Texas is decent, I got a lot of no, Eric, Texas sucks. Texas is cheeks. It's meh. One Blue Jimmy says, let the surface age. GN NASCAR fan says, I don't like Texas, but leave it as is. Also, Camelot 331, who was in the Truck Series race, says middle of 1 and 2 is kind of spooky. 3 and 4 is balls out. So yeah, that sounds about right. So
speaking of Camelot, I saw him in the chat. He said, please no more super speedways. Crash clauses hurt enough as it is.
I just don't fully understand the Texas hate, honestly. That's probably a crazy take, but I don't hate Texas, and here's why. I think it's a fun challenge. Like, I like it that there's a track on the schedule where I feel like the drivers are truly uncomfortable, Like, when they go into qualifying into turn 1 at Texas, that they're not comfy and they don't like that. And I think we need more of that. Does that mean that I love the track? No. I mean, the data doesn't suggest that this track is any good. Like, what were some of our favorite races this year? Miami. At Miami, on average, it took 5 laps to complete a pass. At Texas, it took 10, which should surprise nobody. Another stat, I don't have this in front of me, but I do remember it. So when I do the optimal lap model from a race, it takes into account dirty air. So that means it has to calculate roughly what the dirty air effect is. At like Vegas and Miami, places where you can get out of line and find different air, your dirty air effect is roughly half a tenth. Darlington, it was 0.08. Texas, it was over a tenth of a second per lap dirty air effect, which is over double that of Vegas. So, I mean, is it a car problem? A little bit. Is it a track problem? Also a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do about it? At least it's hard.
I want to bring something up that's funny from this past weekend because, everyone had to address the track stuff. And I don't know if people were being serious about it or not, but the amount of people that ran it into the grass this weekend in Xfinity and trucks, because we could talk about it now.
That's a driver problem, not a track problem. Yeah.
My question was like, why was it so pronounced this year? Like, I remember the Dale Jr. one everyone talks about, and that's one of his famous blunders. He must have felt so vindicated watching everyone just next restart, biff it into the grass, destroy another 3 or 4 trucks or another Xfinity car. Like, I get the explanations they were giving, but this track has been the same since 2017. Nothing has changed on the tri-oval.
What has changed, though, is the way that everybody drives.
Fair.
We're all way more aggressive on restarts than we've ever been at any point in the sport because it's so much harder to get track position. And because of that, everything matters so much more. And so guys lose their heads and do dumb stuff.
That's true. And Texas has, especially on restarts, fresh tires. It's a fight for the white line in turns 1. And I think that's what leads to guys sort of trying to turn left as soon as they can, get under guys as soon as they can. It's a fight for the bottom because it is sort of a one groove track early in runs. On that point you made, though, Grant, about Texas being challenging, that is a positive of this current configuration. I think it was Ryan Blaney I talked to on pit road after the race who made kind of the comment, or he was kind of explaining how, like, the bumps in 3 and 4 especially are treacherous. Everyone knows they're there, but if you set your car up in such a way that it goes over those bumps smoothly, it's going to be way too off the track in turns 1 and 2, and you're going to lose a ton of time in turns 1 and 2. So it's a give and take because both sides of the track are completely different. You have to run, you have to be aggressive on your setup in 1 and 2. That just makes the bump in 4 so much more sketchy. So it's a give and take. It's a challenge for not only the crews, I think, or the crew chiefs, the engineers. It's also a challenge for the drivers, understanding when in the run they can maybe dip their toe up higher. I think early in the runs, maybe when air pressures are lower, that's what bit like Kyle Busch in 4 when he tried to jump up there half lane high shortly after a restart. It's like it all has to be situational, which is in a way a challenge. So I'll say that is a positive thing about Texas. I just wish whenever a driver makes a mistake, like hits the bumps wrong, I wish they had a chance to catch it. That's the only problem is they don't have a chance to get you get out wide out of the groove, you're done. You're not just like losing a few spots. You're in the wall or backed into the fence. It's very unforgiving, I'd say.
Eric, your home tracks, like now it's just advertising for you. The amount of guys that I mentioned, they're struggling getting out of the groove this weekend was crazy. Like, I mean,
I
this
heard
has
it
worked
quite a
out
few
perfectly for you.
Cha-ching every time they say it on the broadcast. I'm like, yep, yes, please. That's a subscriber right there. But guys, I want to ask you about this off topic a bit. We'll get to the ratings in a moment, but I really quick want to touch on this because I saw a decent amount of the broadcast while I was there, but I didn't watch. I was in person. Obviously, I didn't see the full broadcast. First race in the post Artie Kempner Fox era. I saw the clip with Jamie McMurray holding a baby kangaroo in the grandstands. I'll admit I chuckled. I thought that was absurd enough that it was actually worthwhile content. But other than that, did y'all notice any issues with the broadcast this week, or was it okay?
That is what storytellers call foreshadowing, showing a Joey on screen. As a baby kangaroo is a Joey. So a lot of people I saw commenting about it and how much better it was. And I think there were some things that were better. I noticed they didn't miss an accident, which they should be able to see most of them, but that's better than especially the week before. They didn't go to commercial with 5 to go. That was nice. Or 9 to go, I should say. It's a 5 to go. That was nice. I thought there were slight improvements. I don't think there was the night and day difference people said there was. I think there was good change. But I think a lot of it too is just the rose-colored glasses of not having the same person yet. And like, if anyone had not been told, they'd be like, "Oh, it was a decent broadcast."
It's the placebo effect. You were told that it's a different director, so now you're like looking at everything like you're saying through rose-colored glasses, even if it's kind of the same as it's usually been.
There were 17 commercial breaks during the race were counted, which is not great. There were a lot of full screen ones throughout, though I don't think there were a lot of full screen ones at the last stage as much.
This was a cable race as opposed to a broadcast race, which usually means there are fewer commercials, usually. So hopefully that was a positive difference. Well, okay. I'll have to go back and watch more of the broadcast. What I did see in here, it sounded like Mike Joy was pretty into it when there were big moments. Like he was reacting and emotional. When Kyle Busch wrecked, you could hear they had just kind of given him the announcer jinx, and so there was like there was some good stuff. It felt like they were into the race. There was action, and they were all over it. So that's always a pet peeve of mine. It felt like they covered it well in that regard. Well, while we're talking TV, let's talk ratings for a moment because TV ratings were kind of a big talking point after this weekend. We'll start with the Cup race. 2.56 million viewers on FS1. That's an 11% increase from the 2024 Texas race, which was slightly earlier in the season. 18% of the viewers were in the target 18 to 49 demographic. So that's pretty much, NASCAR is usually right around that 20% mark. Pretty typical. This was the most watched Texas race since the 2021 All-Star race. I think that was the race where we had the I Can't Drive 55 on the pace laps. Was that when that was?
Don't remind me of that.
The Sammy Hagar one?
Yes, the Sammy Hagar pace lap concert. Yes.
Well, go back to the Fox situation. That was a Fox move, wasn't it? That wasn't a NASCAR thing,
That
right?
had to have been.
Probably.
A for effort, D minus. I was almost said
No,
D minus.
no, F. That's not even a D minus. That's F.
It made me laugh. It was so absurdly horrible.
I remember.
Made me laugh.
I think you were watching it with us that one, weren't you, Jared?
No, I was the week before Nashville when we all came down. I think I'd left to come down right before.
I remember just watching that and being like, "What the heck is this?"
It was the most watched Texas points race on cable since 2018. It was also the most watched Fox sports event of the entire week. The Xfinity Series race, which we'll get to in a moment, was scored just over 1 million viewers on the CW, which is a 25% increase from last year. This is the first time in 8 years that the opening 12 races of the Xfinity season have hit 1 million or more average viewers. Peaked at almost 1.5 million at the finish. So the Xfinity numbers continue to be stonks. Truck Series, 331,000 viewers on FS1 Friday night. How about the famous Iceberg Pole? How did our viewers react to the Cup Series race at Texas Motor Speedway, Jarrett?
Pretty good. I think I got the numbers there. I'm going to pull up the advanced numbers on it because I have lists now of like
you're trying to impress because Grant is here. You're like, I got to show off like the advanced numbers for the poll.
It was a good week to start finding where they rank all time. So let me pull that up while you get to the results there.
We got 9%, or I'm sorry, 11,000 votes on the Iceberg poll. 9% of voters said this was a great Texas race. 48% said it was a good race. 28% said average. And 15% had a negative perception of Sunday's event. That's a 57% net positivity rating against 15% negativity. That's got to be higher than the past few weeks worth of races, right, Jared? Higher than Bristol, higher than Talladega?
Yeah, so looking at the last couple weeks, positivity-wise, Martinsville, we had 60%, Darlington 58, Bristol 19, 52% for Dega, and 57% for Texas.
Hang the banner.
It's where's that? There we go. Hang the banner. Going
he's
down
got a banner. He's got an actual banner for it. Yeah,
we have a hang the banner. Looking at the Texas races all time at the poll, we've done 10 now. This ranked 7th of those 10. Only above 2019's fall race and the 2 races in 2022. Actually, I'm pretty sure in the post-COVID era that all-star race was the all-time lowest positive at 15.
That was was that the Blaney win?
Yep.
Yeah, I was there.
Now, looking at 1.5 mile tracks all time with the poll, this is the 55th race we've done with it, and it ranked 44th on the positivity all time.
Hang the banner. No, it's not as worth celebrating.
The amount of Texas races, though, underneath that, the 3 of the 10 or 11 underneath it, it's ranked in the middle.
Hey, the track is entering its prime. Did y'all notice on Friday night there were weepers? They couldn't get the track dry. The surface is aging, baby.
The blast.
We're getting somewhere.
Past.
I will say, I tweeted this week during the truck race that I thought that the surface was aging because it looked different on TV. Raja Caruth commented under the post, said, absolutely, definitely is. The next day, Jesse Love comments, no, it's not. So I'm not really sure what the consensus is.
Well, William Byron said kind of both. He said, like, it's aging, but like not like any other track I've seen. Like that was sort of his interpretation. So
is it aging like fine wine then? Is it just aging that well?
I don't think that was what William Byron was. I think it's aging like
Courtney
I don't know.
Cox. They had to try and give it a facelift. Then they went, no, go back.
Yeah. It's aging like maybe bad plastic surgery. Maybe that's what we're talking about here. But anyway, Jarrett, what were a few of the top comments on the poll this week?
Well, the first comment was from Napa Racing fan who said, Eric, I'm so sorry that SMI destroyed your home track.
Yeah, this car would race so damn good at like 2014 Texas.
Oh, you miss it, man. Looking at the 7 comments and the 3 gutter. Let's get to the comments here. N4S Videos says, took him 12 years to win in a AAA livery. It was actually the first win with AAA.
I saw something about that, and that shocked me considering he's won other Texas races and he's always run that Texas wrap and Auto Club back in the day he'd run. That's shocking to me.
Bruh, I'm a pigeon says restrictor plate levels of chaos with short track attrition. Texas is wild.
That is true. It's in the title. Wild race at Texas. I did not see that comment before I made the title. That was great minds think alike.
Nathan 116 says the broadcast was infinitely better camera coverage this week. There wasn't a single incident they didn't catch.
I want to know the percentage of shots of kids in the crowd. Did that go down dramatically?
The shot of the crowd they actually showed the most was when Buescher had his flat tire. They showed a row of Buescher fans being like, no, no. And I'm like,
Yep.
please show more fans in like desperation. Like that the
that's
Chase Elliott one
appropriate.
back in the day.
The Chase
Yeah.
Elliott montage a few years ago.
Like do that with Larson fans when he inevitably spins himself out at Michigan or something this year. Like do that every
Show
time.
them all leaving, because when something goes wrong with Kyle Larson, they just leave.
Like,
they don't stay around.
They got a
Remember-
sprint car race to get to later that night.
Remember when I think it was when Junior crashed out of one of the Daytona races and they just go to commercial showing this fan hitting his leg with a hat and like, damn it. And his wife is decked out in like Chase Elliott or Gordon stuff. And is just looking at him like, what the hell is wrong with you? Mr. Aiden says all the good drivers got taken out.
All of them?
I guess
Okay.
all of them.
Oh, we didn't mention Denny Hamlin blowing a motor. Totally forgot to mention that. What are we, like an hour, 46 minutes in, and we just
okay.
mentioned that Denny Hamlin blew up?
So, Grant, I would not be surprised if you knew this, but did any of you guys know heading into this that he was going for the record of most consecutive lead lap finishes? Or was I completely blind on that? Because I know they brought it up on the broadcast, but I had not heard of it before then.
That is not something I keep track of.
That is
at
news
all.
to me.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he had 21 straight, which tied Dale Jr. and Jeff
Yeah,
Gordon's
they
record.
only mentioned that when it finally was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not happening. Like,
People-
that was very odd.
People were like, oh, they mentioned it weeks ago. And I'm like, was it the pre-race show? Did I miss that? Maybe I missed it.
I don't
Maybe
know.
we all did.
Quite possible.
I don't always have the broadcast turned on, honestly. So, I mean, I could
That's valid.
could have missed
Mhm.
it.
Dat Mudkip says, I think it's becoming very clear that the next gen car just can't race in the pack. It can't handle bumps. It can't handle turbulence. It can't handle wall taps. It can't handle going side by side. It can't handle anything a race car is expected to handle. So Dat Mudkip, not happy with the car still.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with most of the comments there. It can go side by side better than the Gen 6 car it could at times. That part is, I'll say that. But the rest of it, you're on point.
Joey Logano proved to Michael McDowell could go side by side and go around them.
I really think if we were willing to spend money, we could fix the next gen car. I really don't think it's that bad. I think it's a money problem.
I think that's ultimately yes.
That NASCAR's like just like the mom. Do you got McDonald's money? Do you got good car money? Nope. Well, you're getting this at home.
Not my money, so I say spend it all.
Yeah, I can't really, I find different reasons to rip on the whole cost cutting thing. I can't really sympathize with them when fans are asked to pay like over $1,000 a year if they want to watch every NASCAR race. Like,
damn,
I don't sympathize with you at all, like, as a fan at least. Thomas Pondles says, probably the most entertaining race as of recently this season, but Texas either needs a reconfiguration or needs to go.
Dang.
All right.
And Marshall Griffin says Spire has got a bright future ahead of them.
I mean, yeah, they qualified first and fifth and had a car in the running until the final few laps. So good
This
point.
is a classic race for Carson Hocevar this year. It's just he was faster than usual, at least up front wise. And then something went wrong and a caution came out after he had pitted under green and got caught up in a wreck caused by
derailed.
himself, but still. Like, remember when we had him on and he listed off every single race and here's what happened and went wrong when I was running 12th or better every time.
Mm-hmm.
The gutter comments here. Irving Boy says worst Texas race in the next gen era, and it's not even close. Oh man, 2022 is rough.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
SKR Inc. says worst track ever.
At least these are getting downvoted. Look at my home track defenders out in full force.
And Jay Stevens says bulldoze the crappy track. So
Don't give them any ideas. There, I've noticed. I don't want to start any rumors, but I'm seeing too many luxury apartment complexes within a mile of the track for my liking. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Fort Worth, that area, it's growing. They're
North-
running out of room in Dallas. It's Dallas North.
North
Hey,
Texas
maybe
is
if
massive.
maybe if they have to sell it off, they'll have enough money to finish the Auto Club short track that's totally happening someday.
I would never take that trade. in a
Well,
million
that's a separate company. So
Just go split the Arlington race with IndyCar.
let's make it a small loan. I wanted to show you guys, by the way, I had somebody DM me this. I said, hey, you need to look up on Google Maps, Texas Motor Speedway, and zoom in on turn 4. And this is a real screenshot I took during the show. If you saw me looking down at one point and then like kind of giggling, this is what I was looking at.
Who did this? Wait, there's a photo. I want to know what happens if you click
what's
the
the
photo.
photo?
It's still there.
I did not
still
click
there.
on the photo. If you guys want to look at it and see, that's a real thing.
When you click on the photo, nothing's actually there. It's just
For our listening audience. Someone.
But hey, there's 2 reviews. There's Google reviews for it.
Let's see.
Dylan Carter, 4 hours ago, 5 stars. Chris Wright personally came out and touched my right rear. Great experience. Thank you, Chris. Cole Niebuhr said 5 stars. Chris Wright should have a plaque.
Oh my God. Yeah,
But
for our
you know
listening
what?
audience, Jarrett showed us a screenshot of Google Maps. Someone went in and added a destination called the Chris Wright Talent Memorial and put it into Google Maps. Yikes. That's are you done with the gutter, Jared? Is that the iceberg pole?
That's the gutter.
That's the famous iceberg pole on the NASCAR Weekly podcast. We can transition to talking about the Xfinity Series race. Kyle Larson wins, substituting for Connor Zilic, who it sounds like he expects to be back in time for Charlotte in a couple weeks. So, of course, wishing him a full speedy recovery. But Kyle Larson looked pretty damn good in that 88 car substituting, gets the win. But what the heck was Chris Wright doing? Should we leave a review of our own?
He was defending really well, Eric.
Yeah, he was improving his pass defense statistics. Yeah, just slow car. He was off the pace in the whole second half of this race. Justin Allgaier just came out of the pits, was bearing down on him, and he just moved up and down in the middle of the corner a couple of times. Didn't hold a lane and got rear-ended. Bad stuff. Bad break. All around.
The chat. Are those the sirens? No, I live next to a forest.
Did y'all hear Cosmo? Cosmo, what do you want, buddy?
Let's bring Cosmo up.
Cosmo, come on here. He's mad at me because
I feel bad tonight. Claudia is actually working, and I've had to put Shugs and shut him inside of our guest room with his bed, litter box, and food and water, because we're actually having our bedroom, the kitchen, and our bathroom repainted. So our house is a mess right now. We've had to put Shugs in there to keep him like secluded while I'm doing this, and no one's here to watch him.
I think Cosmo was crying because somebody had showed Cosmo Chris Wright's highlight reel in turn 4.
He's a big Chris Wright fan, unfortunately.
I'm not gonna lie. I heard crying and I was like, wait, did Jared have his kid? He didn't tell us.
I was
hoping. I was like, is that Rhett? I wonder. Hold on 1 second, because I actually need to check on him, because I fed him before the show and I need to make sure that he's not terrorizing the house. But I'll just say this on the Chris Wright front. What the hell? All right. What the hell are you doing? And why is this so often happening? I know Dale Jr. brought up, like he was saying, that we need slow cars. I do agree. I think slow cars, especially when you're going through lap traffic, it's part of the duel with leaders, all of that. Chris Wright isn't just a slow car though. Like he is a weapon. I mean, remember Daytona, where he had 3 different stories as to why he caused a crash heading into the pits. All the issues he had the first 3-4 races of the year. This one here, he's just not good. And I hope that everyone keeps up the same energy we've had for like the last, I guess, full season now so far this year, of just calling him out on this, because it's a danger out there. There were so many times. Remember at one point, I think they went 3 or 4 wide around him in turns 1 and 2 because he was going so slow and he was just parking it in the middle of the racetrack. And it's like, and people are like blaming Justin Allgaier for it. What?
That's a tough one. I don't think you can really blame Allgaier there.
Like, because of how he was as a driver and the internet's reaction, we essentially saw the internet cancel Drew Dollar a couple years ago. It's like we're heading this same direction of Chris Wright now.
Man. Well, yeah, Chris Wright, unfortunately, part of the low light reel for the Xfinity Series race. We talked about the grass. The turf monster played a role in that one. It also played a role Friday night in the Craftsman Truck Series race. That race was won by as Jarrett puts his headphones back on. Corey Heim, it's Heim time, baby. His third win of the season. He could have half a dozen at this point. Another dominant showing at one point in the race, it was Heim with like a 10-second lead over Hocevar with like an 8-second lead over third place. Like it was a 2-car, really a 1-and-1 truck breakaway at the front of the field. As we got, look, Cosmo, there's Rhett. Can you see Rhett through the internet?
Do I need to go get Shugs?
Cosmo's mom is not home, so he's locked in this room with me, and I think he's getting a little restless. All right, and animal hour here, Animal House on NWP. We were just talking about the truck race, Jarrett. Some people thought that maybe with how the scoring loop came out, it was 3 wide between Heim, Raja, and Ben Rose. Who was the third truck that was in that 3 wide?
He was up there. So here's my thing. It's like with the scoring loop thing, I feel like they can develop like something that's technology wise a little further along than just having to go towards a scoring loop for it all. Like I get it's the easiest way, but I feel like technology can advance in 20, 25, 30 years to do something different. And we can have more of an accurate assessment over time of it. I get that at the end of the races, they have to go through the field and all that. If that's the same process they have to do, I get not doing it, but it's like, I feel like we can figure something out with that,
I'm going to push back on that a little bit, actually. Because one thing I've noticed, one great idea of how you would make that more advanced is you just use the SMT software that we already have, and just moment of caution, just base it on that. Problem is, as somebody who's actually used SMT, sometimes it just doesn't really work. And so when you use stuff that's more old, and it's been used for a while and less advanced, you don't have to worry about issues that arise, because what happens then when NASCAR throws the caution and SMT's just down, and now we're going to sort through the lineup based on photos and burn 12 laps. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not like we run into this problem all the time, and at least the rules are the rules, and we're not debating oh, what happened? It's like, no, it's a dumb rule, but it is the rule.
So my idea is we could use the loops the way that the NFL now uses the chain gang. It's still there, but it's if there's a mess up with the receptor hitting the line or anything, if power goes down, you still have that option there. Because I feel like at that point we could call the scoring loops the gateway rule, because gateway always seems to have those power outages. I was there with that really bad one a couple of years ago, and it was wild. I'm just thinking that, at some point, I don't know how it has to be tested to be perfected. I know there's always going to be glitches in any format we use with it, but it's like by the letter of the law, it was the right call in every way. There's no arguing that.
So I was there on pit road trying to look up at the big screen when they were reviewing it. I didn't see the actual broadcast, but the images I saw, my takeaway was this was another example of TV not having a great replay synced up with the caution lights, or in this case, the scoring loop. It's like they're showing us, it just felt like, it feels like so often, whatever image, it kind of happened at Talladega with Jeb Burton. The one angle TV had to show us was kind of hard to tell who was out front. It was like, oh, if you look closer, I see the angle. Okay, it's this, but it's not obvious. And so that's where I think fans and even drivers in this case get upset, is that the TV, that stuff that they're being shown doesn't always sync up with what race control is saying.
Paint the lines on the track.
The scoring lines? Yeah. Why don't they do that?
Why don't they do that? Because then at least TV could find them and know where they were.
Or they could have a camera. They could have a freaking whatever, just a security camera, trained on each timing line, kind of like they have at the start finish. They have a dozen cameras at the start finish line, but one at each timing line, and hope that it doesn't crash on the final lap. Hope you, and then just go to that. That it's a fair point, I think. And it's how does TV not have access to those exact angles? I guess is the thing that's a little irritating. It is the truck series. It's FS1. They're balling on a budget. I get it, but this does happen a bit too often, and I think it leaves everyone a little frustrated when it's over.
So I know it's very tiresome being a dog that sleeps all day. I know. Rhett's yawning right next to me
Tell
the
me
entire
about it.
time. When I looked out there to make sure he was doing anything, I'd woke him up from his slumber on my bed. He looked at me like I was the bad guy there. So going back to trucks, I believe the playoff cut line, like the start of it's Darlington. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, exactly 10 races remaining until the truck playoffs. I don't have any points graphic put up yet because we always wait till June to start doing those, but I do have it on the bottom line. And I feel like get out of there. I do feel sorry. The dog is getting into. That's why I leave the door closed usually. We do have a bit of a
He's talking to us. Get out of there.
Yeah, get out of there.
Okay, fine.
As I spelled Majeski's name wrong on the bottom there.
Oh,
but I feel like we're getting a pretty
Oh.
good idea of who's in and who's going to be on that line the rest of the way.
What's
You
the
know,
cut? Oh yeah, 10th is the. I was literally like, how
10th
many?
is.
I'm over here. I do this for a living, and I'm like, how many trucks make the playoffs again? Is it 12?
Why do
No,
we
it's
have
10.
a playoffs in trucks?
It's 10.
I
That's right.
I
10.
mean, to be fair, Eric, you're usually talking about Cup. You're not usually always talking about.
But
truck.
I should know. I should know the basics. But yes, okay. 10 trucks make the playoffs. Stuart Friesen right now is the first truck out. He's had a rough couple of weeks. Go back to, was it Talladega or Bristol where he was kind of not feeling great afterwards. All I know is he wrecked at Texas as well. So it's been a rough few weeks.
Majeski, let's go.
Yes. But it's like that battle there is like Honeycutt all the way through about Raja's. Like that's going to be it. Raja's had a good comeback for the most part, but
I think he's had a couple top 10s in a row.
He started so bad. And
so
I kept everyone basically within 40 on the graph. And Crafton surprised me that he's still within basically a race at this point.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter, in the chat. It was Rockingham. He crashed out after crashing out. That's a good one. I like that one, Peter.
That's a good one.
For talking about Stuart Friesen. Yeah, Truck Series, you're right. Their regular season is so short, so it's about time to start peeking at the points.
So this one is kind of crazy to me. They have 6 straight weeks of truck races. This is the first of 6.
Wow.
Because they got Kansas, Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan. They don't go to Mexico yet. Pocono, Lime Rock. So like we're gonna know probably by Father's Day, like pretty much who's gonna be the who's who and in and everything. I mean, we already know the winners and all that, but if you are a diehard truck fan, these are some crucial weeks that you need to be watching.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, we are roughly one halfway through tonight's show, which means it's time for our first super chat stage break. We really appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. We've gotten a ton of comments and questions thus far. Jared, if you put a timer up, I'm going to read for the next few minutes, beginning pre-show with Robbie Uribe. Says Auto Club is sorely missed. The 2 Mile Oval fit the next gen perfectly. Great racing, ideal SoCal weather. NASCAR didn't want to spend or invest, but fixing the backstretch could have saved it. Perfect for title rotation. Yeah, I mean, they got over $500 million for that land, and they still are sitting on some of it. They could theoretically sell for even more money. But in hindsight, with all the playoff rotation talk, I wonder if NASCAR wishes they'd kept that track with this car. I don't know. They did get $500 million for it. Scrapyard with the 20. Thank you for the super chat. I guess life imitates art more each day. While at TMS over the weekend, I heard songs from NASCAR Heat 3 and 5 playing over the loudspeakers. All In by Naked Walrus and Earthquake by Matthew, respectively. Interesting.
Matthew
It's
S.
always cool. I know a lot of the artists they used in the NASCAR Heat games were kind of indie, like unsigned, smaller artists that sort of fit the right vibe. So it's cool that some of them have like, I don't know what's the word, like transcended, the small community, relatively small community of the games. That's pretty cool. Bailey Reichert, thanks for the 5. A true stat: Anthony Alfredo and Ty Dillon have more laps led this season than Brad Keselowski. I'm not even going to bother fact checking. I believe it. I believe that is true. Here's another question from Bailey. Out of the 4 former Stewart-Haas drivers in new places, who has underwhelmed the most? It's not Barry. He obviously has a win this year. Can't be Josh Berry.
It's not Preece either.
No, Preece has been really good lately. And Chase Briscoe's at least holding on to a playoff spot for the time being. It has to
I
be
don't
Noah, right?
I don't think anybody's truly underperforming yet. I mean,
Well,
all the front row cars look really, really similar. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's the thing. Noah's at front row, and isn't this their first year with 3 cars? I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
going that big, you shouldn't expect that much from them right now.
I mean, the preseason stuff for Briscoe was like, hey, you should be winning races and be up there in the points and all of that. So I
Yeah.
guess you make an argument.
Yeah, he's in the playoffs right now. I think it's probably Noah, but y'all are right that like front row also probably has the lowest expectations of RFK, Wood Brothers. and
I
Gibbs.
guess you could argue for Chase Briscoe because I mean he is in a JGR car. He should be winning.
Just tie.
Indy Carson with the super chat says, congratulations, Auto Racing Analytics, for top 10 for both drivers of Legacy Motor Club. Happy Mother's Day weekend, all the moms and NWP hosts moms. Well, thank you for that, Indy Carson. Yes. Grant, I mean, you helped build the foundation over at Legacy during your
They're
time
forever in his heart.
I don't know about that. I don't know that I did a whole lot.
To
but,
me,
you
I
know,
think you should get credit for this top 5 finish this weekend. That's how I feel about it.
I'll take what I can get, I guess.
Alex Luff, thank you for the 10. Joey Logano is the winner. That's all that matters for me. And Gordy, okay, Gordy, new character alert. Also, regarding my Buc-ee's blasphemy from last week, I've never been in one. I'm used to regular supermarkets like Hannaford or Publix. I do feel bad for Alex. I think we laid into them a little too hard for their Buc-ee's blasphemy a week ago. I still think you need to experience one. And that's the thing is it's not even a supermarket. It's a gas station that looks like a supermarket on steroids. That's what makes it so special.
We're almost at 4 minutes now.
All right. Well, I'm going to get through a few more here because
I can definitely appreciate Buc-ee's. When I had to leave at 2 a.m. to go to Lake Chickamauga on Sunday, it being open 24/7, a nice, clean bathroom, get the cheapest gas around. It was perfect.
I would sleep on the floor of their bathrooms. It's so clean. It is so clean in Buc-ee's. The first time I went in there, I was like, I'm expecting a gas. You go to a gas station bathroom and you're expecting to smell piss and sadness. And instead I walked in there and I'm like, it's lavender and lilac.
I got a Buc-ee's bathroom story from this weekend, but I'll say it after the show.
Oh, we got bathroom talk on NWP After Dark. SW with the 2 says, bring in the Joey. Kangaroo. If they ever brought emojis back for playoff drivers, they should make Joey Logano's a kangaroo after this weekend.
Hibbity happity. This championship's my property.
Okay. Isaac V24 says, biggest uphill battle for full speed season 2. The fact that it's recapping last year's playoffs. Those playoffs almost made me quit the sport altogether. Very volatile, very controversial, no doubt. I can't disagree with you there. I'm going to do just a few more here. Logan King says we got a Ty Dillon top 12 in the big 2025. Yes, shout out Ty Dillon doing exactly what Kaulig needs him to do in that car. Another solid run. Justin Drake, Legacy names Texas Dirt Track as executive replacement of Texas Motor Speedway while the track gets reconfigured again. This position will last 2 to 3 years until 2014 Texas is brought back. I referenced.
I mean, Bristol Dirt Lovers. There you go. Are you happy?
Yeah. I did see the High Limit Series was at the Texas Dirt Track with Bell and Larson, and I think Ty Gibbs had another decent showing, and he's still relatively new to sprint cars. So that track actually got some use. We'll do 3 more here. Hunter Nixon Fishing, very generous, says, so excited for Kansas this week. And I've said for years it was the most underrated track. And I definitely used vacation time from work this Sunday to watch it. Do I feel bad? Absolutely not. And you shouldn't. That is vacation time well spent, Hunter. Evan Bosch says, went to Wingstop a few days ago, and the guy that took my order looked like Eric. And I thought Eric had got out of the groove and got a job at Wingstop. I do like Wingstop. I can't say I've worked there, but that is that's kind of creepy.
There's probably like 15% of NASCAR fans on the internet who are like, you should just get a job. What are you doing? Stop talking. Get a job.
Why are you in your mom's basement all the time?
Yeah, the Wingstop would be pretty elite though. If I were to work anywhere, Wingstop would be. Although I've seen videos like it was like around the Super Bowl or something, or maybe March Madness, where they were like doing some promotions and like Wingstops were getting overrun by people trying to cash in. Never mind. Wingstop. Y'all are frontline workers working at Wingstop. The real heroes.
I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten out and done some food deliveries for some extra cash every now and again, and and they can be some of the longest waits if you take a Wingstop order to have to wait on Wingstop to actually be ready.
Reminds me of an episode of the Boondocks where they run out of chicken.
Oh man, that is the true apocalypse. Final two right here. Had to get to this one from Shorty PJM. Dear Joey haters last week, call a wambulance. They are celebrating this weekend. And finally from Isaac V24, hey, Auto Racing Analytics, what software do you use for data? I don't know if that's a question you can answer, Grant.
I do a lot of coding. I mean, I don't know. But if you want to see my data, it's on autoracinganalytics.com. So go there. Use code
Well played.
NWP.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm pretty sure he like, kind of designs most of his own stuff, but
Yeah, it's all mine. So
yeah, proprietary information.
Darn right.
Hearing you say Shorty PJM, if I'm not mistaken, they are a fan. I think of Cindric. They are a fan of Logano, and I think fan of Bubba and Bowman. If Bubba or Bowman, who have been good at this track in the past, could win this weekend, they would be having like the best time of their life as a NASCAR fan.
Great point. Great point. You guys are going to be cheering together this weekend, is what it sounds like. Well, that was our first super chat stage break, which means it's now time for the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. You like that? I'm doing my own sound effects now. I'm doing my own drops.
Wow, you guys got
Acapella.
fancier since the last time I was here. That's a heck of an animation. My gosh.
Shout out to Jet.
Yep. All credit to Jet on that. Not too many things this week. Of course, we have the channel that we do all the re-uploads on, NWP Clips at NWP Clips. Again, there's stuff coming up for sure. Few things here. First off, Chevy will have an updated Camaro body from the sounds of it for 2026.
That's
just a rumor, but that has been rumored out there now.
But when are they supposed to stop production of the street version?
It sounds like they're going to bend that, at least from what Dale Jr. and Denny had talked about with it. Especially, I think Denny talked about it.
Like the Camaro is too classic of a Chevy car. Why would we get rid of that?
Commies. NASCAR Full Speed Season 2 also is out. So after the show, be sure to watch it. I'm gonna be honest, I might go full madman and just binge it tonight and put out a review tomorrow morning just for the hell of it.
I've not seen it yet, but I've heard from other people that it's I've heard that there's less driver access, maybe even than last season. Now that's just what I heard from one person. So they don't even know if they finished the show, but like, if that's true, that's a little disappointing. I mean, if the content they got was really good, then great. But if it's true that maybe more drivers or less drivers signed up to be a part of it, that part's a bummer. I did see that William Byron, to his credit, we've criticized him in the past for not stepping outside of his comfort zone. It sounded like William Byron's much more involved in this season, so that's exciting.
I want to give a shout out. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but Taylor Kitchen's voice makes an appearance in her from Above the Yellow Line in a segment. She posted a reel of it. I saw in a segment talk about Chase Briscoe and her talk about SHR shutting down. They used a good long segment of hers. So Eric, you might be in it for all I know.
Oh, if I am, I need that Netflix paycheck. I'm just kidding. But that's cool. That's cool that they're getting other people involved.
That should be one of us should like go all out, make the prediction of like how many of us are going to be on next season. You know,
that's what we got. This if they bring it back this fall when I'm at any playoff races, I'm going to be shameless and just hunt for the Netflix cameras and try to linger in the background of as many shots, because obviously it's hard to miss me. So if I just like lurk, I'm really good at lurking. If you've seen me in person, Eric, you know what I'm talking about. I can lurk like the best of them.
Eric, it's gonna be like, remember that picture I took of you at Coda in 21, I think it was,
yes,
where I said, "Hey, let's play a new game. Find Eric," and it's just this crowd of people, and then his head is above it.
I'm gonna say this, Jarrett, and I'm gonna say this as a friend, and I mean no ill will by this comment, but that photo is probably responsible for 90% of my self-esteem issues of the past few years. Like, I obviously knew I was tall, but then I saw that photo and I went, oh my God, like people can see me from anywhere. And now I'm like a little more self-conscious about my height than I think I used to be. So thank you for that photo.
Oh,
it was funny though. It was funny.
It's great, man. It's great.
Now, if you guys haven't seen this photo, I mean, it was years ago, but like, it is like actually freaky how like I'm just literally like a head above everyone around me. It was like, Geez,
See, now-
look at this freak.
See, now I'm digging through my phone because I have like about 900 pictures or so.
If you find it, I'll carry us to this next segment if you want to search for it.
Eric, you can never have these self-esteem issues, because when you do, just go talk to your wife who loves you for who you are, and she's kind of on the shorter side, so I'm sure she loves that having a tall, what was it from SpongeBob, tall, lean, and handsome or something like that.
well,
Thank you. That was very motivational, Danny.
See,
by the way,
needs therapy when you
I
have-
got you.
Who needs therapy when you have the NWP every Wednesday night?
by the way, it'll be next Wednesday night on my channel.
Yes.
And then the 21st is on Danny's channel. And we just confirmed yesterday David Land will be on with us. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's the week of Memorial Day. That's the week of the 500, Indy 500, and the 600, I should say.
Should we say our plans for Nashville yet, or should we keep that on the DL for now?
We'll keep that on the DL until we can like make sure we have the tech in the right place. But I know we can just say, I mean, we're hoping to do an in-person show in Nashville.
You basically alluded to it. They basically figured it out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, not at the track, although that would be cool. Nashville Super Speedway. If you got space for us on that cool stage, hit us up. But
I'll drive out.
Yeah, but no, we'll be hopefully doing a live show from probably Jarrett's new apartment.
Yeah, because
we don't know the exact day, but the week of Nashville, we'll try to do a live in-person show with all three of us, which we haven't done in a couple of years at least. So
there is plenty more room in this office. Trust me. It's about, I think there's like square foot wise, I think there's like close to 100 square foot more. And like I'm already figuring out the places for everything. And I wonder if I can show it. I wonder if my camera won't
360. Oh, what is
old and brash?
More like belongs in the trash.
Oh man, we are children.
Yes, no, indeed.
And now I got to fix. Yeah, I have to fix the camera. So
that's the lightning round.
Yeah, let's do that while I fix the camera.
Couple quick headlines before we get into our fun segments. We'll begin with this. NASCAR finally confirmed that Homestead Miami Speedway is returning to the 2026 championship slot. 2026 championship weekend, Homestead Miami Speedway, November 6th through 8th. Mark your calendars. Start booking your hotels now. Get in while the getting is good. NASCAR says that this will be the start of them rotating the finale destination over the next few years. The only two tracks they can confirm will be part of that rotation are Phoenix and Homestead. They did say, for the time being, no super speedways, no road courses. So, gentlemen, I'll start with you on this, Jarrett. If you have your computer and camera set up straight again, what other tracks do you want to see part of the future championship rotation?
So, I'm going to see if I can remember off memory the 5 that I had put.
I think we had this conversation like last fall, and I don't remember what I said.
I have amended my list a little bit. So I believe I have 4 of my 5. I can't remember. I can't believe I'm forgetting the last one, because I had made a video and I started looking like at 8. I think I used 7 or 8 different things for criteria of it. And like a big one's always weather and fairness have to be like, there's no real push one way or another. You can't be unfair with the championship to the point that it's a super speedway crapshoot. You also can't be snowing. It can be chilly. It can't be snowing.
We got rain tires. Why not snow tires? Next.
In early November, no matter where we go, the chances of snow are still fairly low for most tracks.
Chicagoland is back. I'm kidding. I believe I have my list somewhere on here.
Well, if you guys have
get back to me in a minute, because I have a list.
Jarrett's very prepared.
Checking it twice.
I got you. Danny, do you have, so I can just throw mine out there. Auto Club seems like a lost cause. In my perfect world, the Auto Club short track would be a great part of this rotation. That seems unrealistic. So I'll amend my list to now include the Kansas Speedway. A little cold, I get it. You'd have to line up the weekend so you're not competing head-to-head with the Kansas City Chiefs, if at all possible. But I think Kansas would be a great track to fit this list. And then my only other one would be Las Vegas. Even though it's SMI owned, I think NASCAR would be open to adding them into the fold. Vegas is a destination city. So that would be my group. Phoenix, Homestead, Hope you can't hear the dog. I think the wife just got home.
I hear him.
Phoenix, Homestead, Kansas, Vegas.
I
What do
found
you
my
guys got?
list. Okay. Homestead, I think, is almost perfect. So the thing is, no track could hit all 6 of the criteria I had. It was weather, good racing, good attendance, TV draw, good facility, big market, fairness. And most could hit of the good ones could hit 5 or 6 of them. For me, if they renovate the track, Homestead is perfect. That's the only thing holding it back is the fact that it's a dump. It's old, it's run down.
It's not a dump. It's a little dated.
It's not great. But Homestead for sure. Honestly, I think if they really could up the facility as well, the racing's been good here. The weather this time of year can be iffy, but still has been pretty good. I mean, I know at least the weeks that I'm thinking of because I keep very good track of it here. Nashville is not a bad track for this. It's been in the 60s or 70s every year in November in the first 2 weeks since I've been down here. And I've been here 3 going on 4 years. Kansas, I get it's iffy for weather, but it's the best track in NASCAR. It just is. The 2 that I'm iffy with here, but I'm going to put them on for different reasons. One, Phoenix, because the area has supported NASCAR. And I think that as much as I don't like it, I can deal with it being once every 5 to 8 years. It doesn't have to be all the time. But there's not many areas that support our sport anymore. And if they can improve, we saw with the tires too, if they can improve the tires and we can have a decent race where there's good passing, good tire wear, maybe adding some horsepower can help with that. I honestly don't think that's a bad plan. And the last one, I know I'm leaving out a couple, Charlotte. It's really good racing, hometown championship. It's heart of NASCAR country. I feel like that can be a good one. For me, Las Vegas to me is kind of overrated a little bit. It's good. I think it's not the greatest facility. It's for the most part, the racing is there's better mile and a half. So like I put on here, Kansas and Charlotte. And honestly, like it's so hard to compete in that city that unless you have your own carved out weekend, the way that like F1 does, where it's a big thing where you take over the city or it's in a non-competitive sports area of the year. There's so much going on in Vegas. It's kind of hard to break through with that. Plus, the crowds aren't really the greatest there. Like they don't really support the track as much as some of these other tracks do. Now, some of them don't, but I'm not the greatest with Vegas.
Those are fair points, I'd say, because I also forget they run the Las Vegas Grand Prix in November. So you would be back to back with a huge event that takes over the city. So you convinced me. I would swap out Vegas for Charlotte, and they get the 600 in May and they get a 400 or 500 mile race in the fall. Scratch the Roval. It's run its course.
Yeah, make it 500. I'm cool.
It could be 5. Yeah, but I'll amend my list to replace Vegas with Charlotte. You've convinced me, Jarrett. Grant, do you have a 4 or not even? It doesn't have to be 4. I don't know why I said 4. Do you have several tracks that would fit your description?
No, I mean you guys are already hitting all over it. I want Kansas to be the finale for so many reasons. I mean, I would go, but there's also just that it's the best track in NASCAR right now. My big thing, and this is what I don't understand, I wish that we would only run the championship track once a year. Like when Homestead gets moved off of the championship race, let's give it 2 dates and if we move it back to Phoenix, let's take away a Phoenix date. Like I don't think it's right that we're going to a track in the spring and everybody's like, "Oh, we're preparing for the like, oh my gosh." We've had this storyline 300 times. Like let's stop doing this. Like you go to the championship track one time, nobody knows what they have. They bring their best stuff. Let's do it.
You've won, Danny.
Yeah, Danny will agree with you on that for sure.
Now, if they change it to a 3-race round, it doesn't really matter. But there's that.
I mean, I realize sometimes it works out this way, but that's like watching Texas and Ohio State. They opened the year playing each other in football. That could very well be a national championship. I know different sports, but in racing, I don't want to watch the championship race way early in the season. I want that race to be the championship race. So actually, I have had a chance to go for mine. I've actually got 6 tracks in the order I would do them right now over the next few years. We have to have Homestead and Phoenix because they're confirmed. So those are my 1 and 2. But after that, and here's another caveat I have. One, like if you're on this for the championship, that's your only race of the year. So you better make it a good one. But likewise, the championship weekend afterwards is going to be the next
Oh no.
Oh,
week.
well.
I would put that next week in the closest host city to where that venue. Did something go wrong?
You froze for a
Yeah.
second, but you might be back.
Oh, am I back now?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So anyways, you're only one race of the year if you're the championship, and the championship weekend will be the next weekend in the closest host city to that venue. So Homestead, championship weekend in Miami, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Las Vegas. Number 4, Darlington. I think Darlington would be a unique track, and yes, you would only have one track. The Southern 500 would be the NASCAR championship. I think it'd be a fun one, and so the closest big city to that one, probably Charlotte, so they can stay home for that one. Then number 5, and the reason I put them this far out, because I've always wanted to see a championship race at this track. I'm giving them 5 years to get this car better. Bristol can be it in year 5. Knoxville, Tennessee would be solid for championship weekend. And then number 6, we'll stay in Tennessee one more year, Nashville.
I like all of them except for Bristol with the current car, but I have confidence eventually
I'm
Bristol
giving
will
them
get better.
5 years. 5 years, NASCAR, 5 years.
By
only
the
one I-
2030s.
The only one I disagree with is Darlington, just because I feel like it'd be dangerous to mess with the Southern 500 Labor Day weekend. I think it'd be cool to see Darlington as a championship track. I just think the timing is wrong.
1 year. Just 1 year.
Maybe 1 year they'd let it go. What we know, though, is that NASCAR fans love messing with tradition. They do love that a lot. So,
I mean, that would be a fun track to truly get a challenge out of the drivers, like to get the true champion.
I agree. Like the track itself would be a great championship track. I just worry about the tradition and the dates, but that's a good list. Okay, well, good stuff. A lot of variation, actually, more variation than I was expecting. A few consistent crossovers, but everyone had at least one that was kind of different.
There are tracks I would never see on here, like no way a Watkins Glen, no way a Pocono, no way a Michigan. There are tracks that would never be on there for me.
I get there's like the F1 stuff and all that, so I don't know how all the dates would work with the NASCAR schedule, but it'd be like, can you imagine the uproar? We're going to end the season in Mexico. Probably wouldn't be the greatest reaction from the fan base. Our fan base, I don't think would be happy with that.
I don't think we're in any danger of that. So
if we ever wanted to have if we ever wanted to try a road course championship, COTA would be the only one I would ever want. Honestly,
Don't do that.
I don't even want that.
No.
So
and not really for the racing, but the venue is worthy of that weekend.
Sure.
So I never want this to happen, obviously. I brought it up, and I'm glad that they dispelled the super speedway side of it. Do you guys know that at one point, Daytona actually was considered in the 80s to be moved from its 4th of July weekend to the championship, and then move Indianapolis in the 80s that they were trying to go there, move Indianapolis to the 4th of July weekend, and then have that be the 4th of July. Daytona is the start and finish of the season.
They eventually got their wish on 4th of July at Indy.
And then the world halted to a complete stop.
That was the sign from God. Why'd you do this?
And then we went to the road course. But yeah, I like the variation that we had on that.
A lot of good options, especially if SMI or NASCAR is willing to play ball with SMI from time to time. That certainly opens up the options.
I definitely kind of like my idea of rotating the NASCAR championship weekend. It was fun having it 3 years in a row here in Nashville. Now I think it's boring. They're just staying in Charlotte, but I think that should follow wherever your championship race is, in my opinion.
I like that idea. I actually like that idea a ton. One more headline we can touch on. TNT, whose NASCAR Cup Series season will begin June 28th at Atlanta Motor Speedway, announced their full slate of on-air talent. I'll run through some names real quick. In the booth, we already knew this: Adam Alexander, Steve Letarte, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Pit reporters, this is new: Danielle Trotta, Alan Cavana, and Marty Snyder. In the studio, they'll have Shannon Spake along with Jamie McMurray and Parker Kligerman. And what I want to talk about for a moment is the alt cast, they're calling it, with Jeff Burton and Larry McReynolds. These races or these broadcasts will be on True TV. So you got the main race on TNT, also on Max, But if you want to tune over to True TV, Larry Mack and Jeff Burton will be primarily talking or focusing on the in-season tournament and highlighting specific matchups. I think that's kind of interesting, like NASCAR's version of the Manning cast. Jarrett, what's your takeaway from all this news?
I see that's thing. I'm excited for it. The thing with the Manning cast that I love is the fact that they're very, I don't think critical is the right word. They're very just anyone they have
Candid.
on or themselves. This candid. That's
Yeah.
the perfect word for it.
It's not
And
really like watching a game. It's like you're just watching two guys just reacting. They're sitting on the couch watching it.
Yeah, and that's my worry with Larry Mack and Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton,
I'm not a big Jeff Burton fan.
no, I'm not either.
On the air, at least.
I mean, you know, anyone that looks at the Talladega race we saw and says, I don't get why fans are upset. Jeff Burton and Michael Waltrip.
It wasn't his best comment. It wasn't his best.
I mean, I just always think of him butchering SVG's name.
Let's also remember too, Larry Mack's the same one too. That he's the age is starting to show a little bit. I'm glad he's there with that. I think that you can't make it like a Manning cast, and it has to be covering the in-season tournament like they're talking about, and like parceling through that information. I think it's always good, especially when you have a main channel like that, to have it on two channels. So I like the idea. I think in the future years they can probably get better people on there, but I feel like this is sort of Dale Jr. getting all his favorite people and buddies on too. So I don't know.
Well, they also mentioned Mamba Smith is there as like a Bleacher Report ambassador or contributor. I don't know if he's going to be part of the alt broadcast at all. That was unclear, but he'll be involved. And you know, we all like Mamba here. He's been on this show a few times back in the day, but he also has, you know, he is a NASCAR employee, and so you're not always going to get the most honest reactions or responses, certainly not to controversial news or moments. Danny, Grant, y'all have anything to add on the TNT side? Y'all looking forward to it?
I was just gonna say I wasn't laughing at the fact that Mamba Smith did. I was laughing at the fact that John Riggs literally just had a message that said, so we're just going to ignore Mamba Smith being on the alt broadcast, and then immediately message retracted after he said it.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be on the. It's just said he'd be like a contributor. I don't know if he's on. Well, he might be. We'll see. I guess. I mean, he's good on camera.
I don't think they could depend on Jeff Burton and Larry Mack solo for that long. They're going to have something to mix in.
Peyton and Eli do it on their own. I mean, but you're right, Jared. It's not the exact same type of show, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Mamba's pretty good in like that anchor, like sort of host role, I think.
I just don't know who's going to watch it. Like, I don't know why you would pick to watch Jeff Burton and Larry Mack when you can watch Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte. Like, I think Dale Jr. is the quintessential, like, he's the draw if you put him on the alt broadcast, but why would you put him on the alt broadcast? Because he's Dale Jr. You know, like, I guess I don't see the vision. If maybe someday they find somebody to go on there that has good chemistry with Burton or somebody that has a name that polls, then I don't know, maybe it'd be interesting, but just kind of have to see what they do with it.
Is it almost, it's like a cash grab, it feels like, because you're going to have people watching TNT mainly for the race, but then you're going to have people who are just flipping the channel and be like, oh, I found the race. Okay, yeah, I'll watch these guys. Oh, yeah, it's the race.
Maybe.
My theory is that the in-season tournament, yes, it was probably inspired by the NBA, whose TNT has partnered with for many years, but I think it was also motivated by a desire to break into the sports betting space more closely. And that's why I think this broadcast might exist, is to give fans who want to view this race solely through that lens an outlet to go that's more dedicated to that. Because that's the hard truth, is those first couple tournament races when there's 16 and then 8 different head-to-head matchups, like you're asking the main broadcast to keep up with a lot of information on one show. You know, they got to keep up with the storylines of the race, the point standings, and all of these different individual matchups. Like, that's a tall ask. So having a separate dedicated show for that, for fans who are truly invested in that tournament, makes sense maybe from that perspective.
Well, and one thing I think it's being lost with the entire announcements and all that, and I don't know for sure if he's still at NBC. I think he is. There's been no announcement he isn't there, and unless I'm wrong. But it's like, if he's still at NBC, does that mean we get 24 straight races of Steve Letarte?
Theoretically, yes. I think he is still at NBC. I think it'll be Diffie, Burton, and Letarte, kind of like last year.
I couldn't help
I feel about that.
I couldn't help but be laughing just a minute ago. Snappy452 said, so we dubbing it the Shellcast.
You said it, not us.
On
No,
that note,
Snappy said it, not us.
on that note, I think that's a good sort of period on that conversation there. It's time for some fun segments. It's time first for our prediction segment. Sorry, accountability. I almost said predictability segment. The prediction segment where we hold ourselves accountable. Each host is going to make 2 show or NASCAR or motorsports related predictions. We'll keep track every single week with our accountability session. We'll keep our predictions concise and within the next few years. So jumping into the accountability session, I guess I'll hand things over to you, Jarrett. How did we do on our predictions last week?
Well, I did pretty good. I said Texas would get a higher positive percentage on the poll than Talladega, and I got that right. So yay.
Good pick. Good job. What about
Eric,
me? How did I do?
You said a driver would take a selfie with the Buc-ee's mascot in Texas.
I need to stop making these predictions because I always am like, oh, a driver's going to do this on social media or going to dress up in a funny costume. And I think it's because I'm wish casting. Like I want that to happen because it would be funny if I got it right, but I never get these right. I need to stop.
I'm right there with you. I did the same thing.
Yeah, because Danny said a driver will tweet about visiting Buc-ee's this weekend.
I'm shocked that didn't happen. I'm shocked.
I am too. That is surprising.
Especially since it wasn't IndyCar in Alabama this weekend.
There's right there. The closest we got was a team saying something about it, but not a driver specifically, like I said.
You also said Chevy would sweep the weekend. So looking at this season's standings, I'm leading with 37.5%. Eric at 28.13 and Danny at 25.93. All time, I'm at 41.38. Eric at 30.94 and Danny at 29.93. And then I swear I had them, but somebody, let me see if I can find it while we go through it. Grant, somebody a few weeks ago had actually put your predictions together in a comment
because I went back and I found them.
Oh, you do
so
it.
That I
you
could
do
fact check myself because I remembered one of them and I knew I got them. Number 1 prediction: 2 Cup Series championships missed the playoffs. Got that one. Kyle Busch missed. Second one: Jimmy Johnson will score 1 more career top 10. Daytona, got that one. We're 2 for 2. Third one: we get a 10-win next gen season sometime in the next gen era. We haven't gotten there yet.
That's a tough one.
That one's not aging very well at the moment, but you just never know. So
hey, two for three so far. That beats all the 3 of us. So you're off to a strong start. Good stuff. So we'll add it to our list this time. We'll each go one at a time, beginning with who goes first? Jarrett, you go first. All right, give us your first one.
The pass for the win for both races will be in the last 10 laps at Kansas for trucks and Cup. Whether it's fuel mileage, whether it's good racing, whether it's whatever, it'll be in the last 10 laps for both races.
All right, I'm going to start with my really bold one, I think.
Ooh.
So last season, remember that Chase Elliott began the year with 19 straight top 20 finishes. He's doing that again. He's up to 11 straight top 20s to begin the year. My bold prediction is that he will get to 20 straight top 20 finishes, 20 or more before the streak is snapped. That is right. Atlanta in a few weeks is the only one I'm worried about. Other than that, I feel good. That's my first prediction. Danny, how about you?
Crazy.
Watch, he's going to blow up lap 1 like Denny Hamlin did last week.
How could you do this to me, Danny?
That's not my prediction. My prediction actually is, everyone at 2311 will lead a lap at Kansas, including Riley Herbst.
I like that one. That's a fun one.
I like it.
All right.
Okay, Grant, do you have your first one?
Yeah, my first one, I'm taking a Chris Buescher top 10 at Kansas. Hopefully that's not too low-hanging fruit, but Buescher's he's been really fast on the intermediate tracks this year. He was second fastest per optimal lap at Texas, so I feel pretty good about that one.
All right, Jarrett, your second prediction.
Both Kansas races, Cup and Truck, will be won by repeat 2025 winners.
Okay. I'm going to do this.
Oh my gosh, sorry. People are pointing out, I forgot Corey Heim is racing for 2311. I got to hope 4 cars. Oh, God.
Oh, I thought that was the okay. So
I'm locked in.
So here's my prediction. I was going to kind of piggyback off yours, Danny. You're believing in Riley Herbst this week. I'm going to play the role of Herbst hater once more. Corey Heim will finish ahead of Riley Herbst in the Cup race this Sunday.
I mean, to be fair, I could get lucky and green flag pit stops help Herbst and Heim lead a lap. So
He's got a bright green car this week. Heim does. So, I mean, you won't miss him if he does.
Chiefs will be referenced some way on Sunday's broadcast.
Oh, damn, that's a lay.
That is a layup.
Look. I went for Herbst to lead a lap. I got to go with something.
Okay,
easy.
fair enough. Okay, what's your last one, Grant?
My last one is kind of a homer prediction. So now I'm doing Auto Racing Analytics Independent. And so one of our clients this year is Sammy Smith. And so far, Sammy has really upped his game on restarts this year. And so I'm going to go ahead and say that he's going to be the 2025 Xfinity Series Restarter of the Year, meaning that he will have the best average of positions net and retention rate, according to my Auto Racing Analytics data. Right now, he's second in positions net. He's gained 47 spots on the year, and he's third in retention rate at 76.9%. And that's only 1.5% out of the lead of Justin Allgaier. So I feel pretty good about him potentially being 2025's Xfinity Restarter of the Year.
I like that. All right. Well, we'll check in on that one at the end of the season. But good predictions. That was a strong prediction segment. I like everyone's picks this week. Some bold, some less bold than others, but they all sparked conversation. That's what's most important. That makes for good podcasting. Well, gentlemen, it's time now for probably us to commit live stream sin of muting the chat while Jarrett gives us clues for random driver of the week. Sorry, chat. Can't look at y'all for a while.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one. So the last couple weeks, I'm gonna be honest, Danny's on a heater.
I know, I'm struggling, man.
He is on a heater. He's got 4 of the last 5 with Regan Smith, Rob Moroso, Cuckoo Marlin, and Tim Flock. Eric, you did get Sheldon Creed, so good on that.
But I'm running second like Sheldon Creed right now. So
yes, 22-20. Danny has the all-time lead.
Is that like the biggest gap anyone's ever had? It feels like.
No, I don't think anyone's had a lead bigger than 2.
Oh, then I can't be denied. I have to win this one, or at least I can't let Danny win this one. That's what's most important.
Grant could steal it from us. So
last time I was here, I folded. So.
If it makes y'all feel better, the chat hasn't got it yet, so there's that.
I mean, to be fair, I'm the guy who made his channel of 5 NASCAR drivers you forgot about. I'm supposed to be doing good at this.
All right, you guys ready? Remember, you got 3 guesses you can have on this. So there are 21 clues. This random driver is from Texarkana.
Oh,
that should instantly give it away, but I don't know who's from there.
This random driver is currently working for Front Row Motorsports.
What they do?
Advising role. This random driver's hero is Smokey Unick. I'm like checking the chat, making sure.
Have they already got it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, someone might. I'm not checking that much. This random driver was a part of the Alabama gang.
Oh man, that should be a huge hint. But he's from Texarkana, or he or she, I guess, probably he. What? How is it? Honorary member?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Well, you got to listen to the next clue, guys.
Okay.
This random driver's early years racing were on short tracks in Tennessee and particularly Alabama. So honorary. None of us, of the 4 of us, have ever tweeted about this random driver. Yes, I did look it up, Grant.
We're cooked. It's over, chat.
I'm like, we should know this, but I don't.
This random driver did spend a large majority of its NASCAR career as a crew chief. At least a large amount, for sure. Starting to see the answers trickling on in.
Is that a hint? Dick Trickle. Finally. No, I know he's not from Texarkana.
We already did that.
Oh, we did what?
Huh?
All right. No, I wasn't a guess. I was kidding. I know he's not from Texarkana.
This random driver made 455 career Cup Series starts.
Oh. Wait, and that's him as a driver, not the crew chief, right?
As a driver, yes.
Okay.
Made 3 Xfinity starts.
You said this person's still working with Front Row Motorsports?
And an advisor role, he said.
Because I was going to guess, I'll just throw it out there. Why not? I'm not going to burn all three guesses. I'll throw out Red Farmer.
Red Farmer.
Probably
Well,
not it. Yeah, didn't think so.
Went off
Shot
the
in the
board.
dark.
Went off the board for Eric. This random driver had 17 Cup Series top 10s as a driver and 1 Xfinity top 10. This random driver, outside of obviously the person I'm about to talk about's dad, was Dale Jr.'s childhood hero in NASCAR.
Oh,
So this
no.
person was.
Oh boy.
Oh,
This person,
no.
yes.
Oh, what is his name?
Lake Speed. I don't know. I have no clue.
that a guess?
That's not a guess. I think we've already done him.
This random driver's best Cup points finish is 11th. And best Cup finish in a race was twice 8th, those being at Daytona and Martinsville.
Has the chat got? I assume the chat. Are they unanimous yet?
The
Yeah,
chat,
they're unanimous.
for sure.
This random driver did not win as a driver in NASCAR.
So sad.
We have 7 clues left. This random driver had their first start in the Daytona 500 as a driver.
Cool. Anything noteworthy happened in that race?
I did not look at that. Just the first one was Daytona 500.
I'm trying.
Final,
I'm desperate. I'm trying.
final start as a racer in Cup was at The Rock. This random driver's career was largely sponsored by Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, wait.
I love how someone said that's not really a hint. No, that is a huge hint.
Yeah, I'm checking to see if we have a name we've used.
Kind of in a sad one. This random driver was also involved, and I just saw it pop up in the chat too, in the fatal crash with JD McDuffie. This random driver was most known for driving in the 52 car. We got 3 clues. Do you want the numbers and the OEMs?
I think okay, yeah. Give me the numbers.
Yeah.
Get ready. If you need a pen, get it ready to write them. 5, 8, 14, 45, 52, 90, 92, and 98.
I think is it Jimmy Means?
Yeah.
Is it weird the Alka-Seltzer one is like what put the image in my head? And I'm like, wait a second.
I was about to say, did I have to get to the nickname of Smut?
I couldn't remember who it was, but I remember Dale Jr. saying a story. Didn't Jimmy Means take him somewhere one time? A certain place maybe he shouldn't have took him.
That was Ken Schrader.
Okay,
I know what story you're talking about. Yeah.
But Dale Jr. hung out with Jimmy Means' kid when they were kids.
Chat. I'm checking the chat now. Oh yeah, they were pissed at us. They were furious.
When you were talking about, once you gave the clue that he was Dale Jr.'s hero, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he had him on I'm pretty sure he had, was it his son or somebody on his podcast at one point?
He
was talking about, okay, he was talking about like all of the time when he was in a really good car in a race that his dad was in, and he like didn't care about his dad. He was just paying attention to that car. And then I think he also let him run one of his Xfinity cars when they wrecked out at Daytona or something, but I couldn't remember the guy's name.
And
the 52 car, especially so part of it, I did like a sponsored thing with Alka-Seltzer a couple of years ago, and I remember we were like digging through old paint schemes because I think there was talk of running a throwback, and I remember stumbling across the Jimmy Means scheme, and so that's like it's weird. I'm embarrassed that's where I like first sort of made the connection.
By the way, his nickname being Smut was Smut is the substance that is left after smoke. Smoky eunuch. Jimmy Smut means because his hero was Smoky Eunuch. So for those who get your mind out the gutter chat, those are I'm seeing some gutter comments.
It's too early for the gutter comments, chat. Save that for the poll.
So until I heard the numbers, the name I was thinking of was Buckshot Jones. He also drove an Alka-Seltzer car.
Mm-hmm.
But then I didn't
Matt
hear number
Kenseth drove
zero,
an
and I was
Alka-Seltzer
hooked.
car.
He did drive it. I see it right now. I'm looking up the Google images.
I have an Alka-Seltzer koozie in my desk somewhere.
Nice. Sweet deal.
I'm pretty sure you gave that to me, Eric.
Oh, yeah. It was probably part of that sponsor deal.
and speaking of which, I looked up NASCAR Alka-Seltzer car, and sure enough, here's one with Eric Eastep's face on this picture here with the graphic of the Eric Eastep meetup with the Brennan Poole car. Or no, it was Bailey Curry.
It was Bailey Curry back in the day. Yeah, that was an interesting. I think we did that meetup at Pocono with the Alka-Seltzer people, which is cool. That was a few years ago. Awesome stuff. Well done, everyone, with the fun segment, the random driver of the week, the prediction segment. Jarrett, do we want to add one more brief fun segment that I saw on Twitter this week? Do we have time for one more brief segment before we talk Kansas?
I could pop it up. We might not all be on camera, but I can switch.
We don't have time for fun.
No, we got to have more time.
And there goes our guest.
Oh,
let me see if I can move myself down or something. Hold on, let me.
I want to give a shout out to @Matty NASCAR. That's MATTY_NASCAR on Twitter, who made this graphic. And I saw it had hundreds and hundreds of replies, hundreds of retweets and likes and all that stuff. So I thought, okay, this would be kind of fun if we had some time in the show this week to each of us build our own cup team using their chart. This is the chart that they made. We didn't make this chart. They made this chart, build our own cup team. And then chat, you guys could vote for whose team you think is the best. And we can all pick the same driver. We can pick similar drivers if we want, but I thought this might be kind of a fun segment if you guys are down to play real quick.
Yeah.
I can go first because I'd already given it some thought, but I don't know if you guys had a core ready. I will say I was a little surprised to see like Eric Jones, Josh Berry, even SVG in the $2 category. Like I think Eric Jones is really talented, but like results the past few years wouldn't blow anyone away. So I was a little surprised to see some of the rankings here, but yeah, gives us some money to play with. So you get a 4-car team. You got to pick 4 drivers.
I've got mine.
Okay. Grant, you want to, he can lead us off. Are you able to put it back on the screen for us, Jarrett?
Yes, I am.
Give me Kyle Larson because Kyle Larson is currently the best driver in the Cup Series, bar none. There is no discussion. I think he's the best driver in the world. I'm going to say it. He just crashes a lot, and I'm okay with that. The reason I'm okay with the fact he crashes a lot is because I'm going to grab his counterpart, William Byron, which is the perfect duo because William Byron is Mr. Consistency, but he's not quite as raw fast as Larson. He's going to pick up the pieces. Hendrick's got a great pairing there. Also give me Ross Chastain because I definitely want the best restarter in the Cup Series.
Okay.
And that should leave me $2.
Yes.
And I will take Carson Hocevar because my gosh, I mean, he is cooking his Spire teammates. It's crazy.
A ton of raw pace from Hocevar. Okay, I can do my 4 if you guys want. I'll go next. So I agree with 2 of your picks, Grant. Give me Larson for $5. But give me Christopher Bell as well for $5. Give me a team of dirt racers, Larson and Bell. Then I agree with you, William Byron. So now I'm at $14. I have to go with one of the $1
guys. Go to
guys.
The dollar bin.
I got to go to the bargain bin. But if you looked at that graphic, Ryan Preece was in the bargain bin, and he's been showing out with RFK Racing. This is the first real good situation he's been in his Cup career. We've seen him win in Xfinity. We've seen him win in trucks. Dude's a racer. So give me Larson, Bell, Byron, Preece as my 4-car $15 team. Jarrett, who do you got?
I got Larson and Bell as well. I think those are the 2 most raw talent drivers. I'm going to go with a $3 bin and take Chris Buescher. I think with good equipment, he does very well. And then $2, give me Carson Hocevar.
Okay, another one for Hocevar. All right.
Larson, Bell, Buescher, Hocevar is my team.
Guys, I like this team, and it left me $1 left over actually. I'm going for $5, Kyle Larson. $4, why do we have the driver with the most championships that's actively racing, Joey Logano, at a discount for $4? Of course I'm taking Joey Logano.
Fair enough.
And then $3, selfishly, I've got to take Alex Bowman. I mean, but he's solid. He'll get me good finishes and he'll get a win here and there. So we're still gonna get some added bonus in here. And for $2, a driver with a very young career with a huge bright side we can build around, Carson Hocevar. So that's my four. That's my four. Leave me $1 left over.
A dollar that you can buy some extra speed with, perhaps.
I mean, if it's legal for $1, give me someone to run a fifth car to learn from every now and again.
Let me hold on. Let me see if I can pull it. I want to make a poll in the chat real quick, but it's gonna take me a second. Sorry.
Yeah,
Jared,
are you gonna have to put our teams in it too, just so that they know?
That's what I'm gonna try to do. That's why it's gonna take me.
How about you put their car numbers?
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put their car numbers
Okay.
because I think that'll give me the space. Okay, now I got to.
Do you
pull
want
up
numerical order or just dollar order?
I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna put it in. Whatever. I wrote them all down real quick.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put. All right. We had Grant's was Larson, Byron, Chastain, Hocevar. I do like that group. A lot of just pure speed in that group. Mine was Larson, Bell, Byron, Reese. And then we had Jarrett's was Larson, Bell, Busher, Hocevar, and Danny was 522. That's Larson, Logano, Bowman, and Hocevar. 3 Hocevars. All right. I'm not even gonna put names attached. So unless you have a good memory, you're not even gonna know. There you go. Give you guys a moment to vote. Which 4-car team of drivers that we bought for $15 or less, using @Maddie NASCAR's poll. Who do you think has the strongest overall team? We'll let it go for a few moments. I want to see where we're at. Okay. Ooh, it's okay. Everyone's got some votes right now. Oh my God, it's all over the place.
I don't.
Like, fluctuating like crazy. I'm surprised. Yeah, why? I'm surprised Jarrett's right now in last place. I'm a little surprised by that.
Well, now I am.
Now they're catching up. Oh, it's close. All right, this is interesting. Someone said I'm choosing. Oh, I thought it said Scott McLaughlin as their test driver. No Eric Jones buys is crazy. I think the fact that Jones was $2 on that chart, I think made us stay away. I think he's slightly overvalued.
No Chase Elliott buys either.
I mean,
yeah, that's interesting.
I just can't believe that with the current championship format, people don't see the purpose of having Logano on here.
I'm putting the thing back up on the screen so people can see. Yeah, so we all picked Larson. 3 of us picked Hocevar, which for $2, that's probably a decent deal.
That's a steal.
Yeah, only 1 pick for Logano. I think
that's
Hamlin,
better than going. The only one for the dollar bin.
Oh. What happened?
Did I freeze or did Danny freeze?
I think it was me.
Oh,
yeah, it was you. So what were you saying, Danny?
All I was saying was the only one for the dollar bin I think I would take a chance on is Ty Gibbs. Although he struggled, he has a bright future too. I
didn't even see him down there.
I took Priest from the bargain bin because I feel like you could almost swap out Priest and Jones. Oh wait, which screen do I put it on? I got in the 4 bot. There we go. Thank you, Jarrett. I'll go and end the poll, and that's not just because my team is leading, but because we've gotten
come on, guys.
We've gotten over 100 votes.
So close.
All right, so my team came out first. Grant's team a close second, and then a tight battle for third. Danny squeaked it out, even with your boy Alex Bowman.
I mean, what, 8 wins? Hey,
13% of y'all are the ones that know wheel.
I am surprised Jared's came up last. I thought our 4 teams were pretty equal.
I honestly think they're all pretty solid. I
had home court advantage because it was my channel, so that's worth like at least 5%. So I think it was a lot closer than it came out to be.
Generally, I've found our channels don't have that much of swing. I think our audiences are pretty impartial with that.
Honestly, they're all here for Danny. I think Danny is the hometown favorite here in the chat. Doesn't matter whose channel we're on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was fine. Anyway, thank you guys for indulging me. I saw that. Shout out again. I don't have his handle pulled up on the screen, but @Matty MATTY_NASCAR for putting that together. Was a fun thought exercise on Twitter earlier this week. Okay. Now, gentlemen, we can get into Kansas Speedway, wrap this episode up, end on a high note. It's a doubleheader. Trucks and the Cup Series are racing. Jesse Love running the RCR number 33 in Cup, with Corey Heim running the 2311 number 67 as well. William Byron and Brandon Jones are dipping down to the Truck Series. Carson Hocevar is as well. We'll start with the truck race Saturday, the Heart of America 250. It's a 134 lap race, 30, 74 lap stage breakdown. Starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1, also on the NASCAR Racing Network and Sirius XM for the radio. Weather looks pretty good. Little cool, 56 degrees, little cloudy, 17% chance of rain. Corey Heim is the defending winner. The Cup race is the Advent Health 400, 267 laps on Sunday. 80, 85, 102 are the breakdowns. 3 p.m. Eastern start on FS1, MRN, Sirius XM, 76 degrees, 13% chance of rain. Sounds like a beautiful Sunday at the track. Kyle Larson will attempt to defend his spring Kansas title, where he bested Chris Buescher by that much, give or take, something like that. It was almost a 4-wide photo finish 1 year ago. Very exciting. A lot of folks looking forward to this race. Jarrett, do you have the pick points pulled up?
I do.
Yeah. My predictions may be awful, but my race picks cooking. I got the lead, 190 total points. Danny is up to second, actually holding strong in second, I should say, minus 10. Chat, minus 15. And it's real tight there in third, fourth place. Jarrett is in fourth currently, 17 points out of the lead. Everyone's still within striking distance. The draft is keeping us close.
I want to make a point here. I've noticed. So I went back and I think all but one episode on Eric's channel this year, I've been last, and the week before I'm second or first every time. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, everyone who just tunes in on Eric's channel is be like, this dude is a complete dolt.
Well, I think that happened to me. I was technically last week in a tie with the chat, but they had a tiebreaker, so that gave me first pick, and now I catapulted up to second after last week. By the way, while I am talking, I just want to say I had to go back and say this. Chris McIntyre said in the chat, "I'm here because the Chris Wright Talent Memorial recommended your site."
Are you serious?
I'm looking at the Google reviews. They had deleted some. Somebody's deleted some of the earlier ones I've seen. There's only 4 reviews now. I just want to give an update on that. Matt Hofstetter said, "Why turn left when you can turn right?" I did see GN NASCAR fan had a comment. It's gone now. Someone deleted it. Oh. Brandon Davis an hour ago, 5 stars. LMFAO, they literally put that there. John P 5 hours ago said NASCAR Weekly Podcast took me here. Amazing. With a picture of Chris Wright crashing Justin Allgaier. Lucas Fisher 15 minutes ago, 5 stars. I tried to visit, but unfortunately, every time I tried to go, I got blocked.
By the way, something else that we're in. If you go on the Wikipedia page for the 2004, the first 2004 race at Dover, there's actually like a quote, and like all of us on the podcast are mentioned because of Mark Martin talking about that race and about the oil being on the track. And so if you go on that Wikipedia page, like all our names are listed off, and it's like, and then list off like what Mark said in that. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's neat. Nice to be credited on something. That's kind of pretty cool.
Do you know approximately where it's a pretty, oh wait, here it is. I think I found it. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like right at the bottom, I think. Or like right there.
In an interview 16 years later on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast on YouTube of YouTubers Eric Eastep, Jarrett Lundberg, Darren Gilliam, Matthew Henson, Slapshoe.
Wow, they put his legal name in.
They got his legal name out.
Whoa.
And Daniel Baldwin, Danny Talks, Mark Martin talked about the race when he mentioned Kane's spin, saying that he never felt nor saw any oil on the racetrack. Honestly, I forgot I knew Slaps from him. I can't believe it's just out there on the Wikipedia like that.
Yeah, I remember the first time we had one of those meetups, and I was, and I bought a few people's things in advance, like for something, or like the Airbnb or something like that. And I just get this like email from this Matthew Henson. I'm like, who the hell is Matthew? Do I know a Matthew? And then I look, and it Slaps logo on it. I'm like, oh shit, that's his real name. I'm like, I've known this guy for 2.5 years, and I don't know what his name is. We threw out his name.
That just randomly reminds me. Sorry to get off topic here, but you talk about the first race we went to with Slap being the first race we went to with him was Bristol. And when I told Claudia, yeah, this guy Slap Shoes is coming. He's coming he's flying in from Japan for this race, and she's thinking there's gonna be like this full Japanese man coming to save us.
So she's like slap shoes. Is there some sort of translation error? Like what kind of name is that?
I remember because he came in and he's just like, I am so tired, but it's
Yeah, the jet
Bristol,
lag had to be.
baby.
Ugh.
Oh,
Well,
man.
back to Kansas. Sorry, we did get off topic there, but that was funny. We'll go in reverse points order. Grant, since you're here, you are the guest. You get the advantage of sniping a pick from us in both races. So we'll go with one race at a time. We'll start with the truck race. Grant, do you have a pick to win the Craftsman Truck Series event?
Oh, I'm so sorry for the things I'm going to do to you guys and just take people off the board. Unfortunately, I forgot I have to pick the truck race. So I'm going to pull that up really quick if I can. But let's be honest, I'm probably going to pick Corey Heim. I mean, we all know what's coming.
I didn't even bother putting him in my notes because I knew he'd be off the board
Yeah.
soon.
So let me just. I need
there,
to tell
but
the why though, and I'm getting okay. Now I have it. Yeah, Corey Heim. If you actually go on autoracinganalytics.com and look at his team rankings graphic, it's basically a perfect circle. It's completely ridiculous. Like the guy has no business being in trucks anymore. On the year, on all non-drafting ovals, he has an average median lap rank of 2, meaning that he averages the second fastest car in the race, just no matter what. On intermediate tracks, it's a 1.25. He had the fastest car at Texas, at Miami, and then he had the second fastest car at Vegas. Oh, he also had the fastest car at Rockingham. It's completely ridiculous. Corey Heim's going to win this weekend. So
good pick. Jarrett, you got next.
Yeah, it's picking for second at this point. Hocefar's racing this week, right?
Yes,
I'll go with Hocefar.
I think that might have been the chat's pick because
He's in the
Hocefar's
7 this week.
I think he's in the 7. I think Byron is in the 07.
Yeah, Byron.
The
Because
chat, you got to pivot. I think they're pivoting to Byron. It looks like they're pretty quickly going to Byron.
Yeah.
Chat gets William Byron. So Danny, who's your pick? Who you got number 4?
I didn't like this pick, but I'm gonna have to go up at Lane Riggs.
That's not a terrible pick.
I
He was
love
good
that
here.
pick.
Yeah.
I actually really like that pick. Recently, I've realized I think Lane Riggs may be. I'm going to do a video at some point on Auto Racing Analytics later in the year. So wait for it, where I rank Xfinity and Truck Series prospects. I think Lane Riggs rates a lot higher than we're necessarily thinking. His outstanding metrics look pretty darn good for somebody his age.
I would agree. Since the second half of last season, he's been on it. And I mean, he's a weekly series champion.
Well,
he's good.
He was last year's restarter of the year in the Truck Series, and I didn't put a ton of stock into it because he was running, I think, lower than he should have been for a lot of the year. But he's backing it up so far this year, and he has top 3 restart metrics again, despite being at the front of the field.
Since January, I've had him as my final 4 pick with Heim. That's like the only 2 I'm confident with.
It's a good call.
Speaking of being on it, I'm just giving an update on some of these reviews for the Chris Wright Memorial. Chris McIntyre has a good one. Justin A is an amazing tour guide. I never thought I'd learn as much in one place as I did today, and to think it's free. Lee Ryan, RIP, Chris Wright's championship hopes, 2025 to 2025.
Oh my God.
So mean.
This is diabolical.
And Eric still has to make his pick.
Well, I'll take. This is my 5th guy on the board, but I still like this pick because he's been really consistent. I think this team has brought good trucks this year. They've got multiple wins already, like as an organization. Give me Daniel Hemrick. I'll take Daniel Hemrick to be at least in the top 5.
He was my number 3 pick because I initially put, before they announced the Cup drivers would be in it, I had Heim and then Hemrick because
I'm with Jared. If there wasn't that many Cup guys, he'd probably have made my list too.
Well, I think we all feel decent about our picks this week. So let's move on to the Cup Series race. For this one, we'll do our suck pick first. We'll start with you on this. Grant, put you on the spot. Who's going to struggle in the Cup race on Sunday?
He's going to break down. He's going to break it down like I know exactly who's going to suck because of the stats.
Can I
right
go
here.
last on the suck pick? Because
sure.
I forgot I had to do that.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Who's next then? Jarrett, you want to give us one?
Noah Gregson.
Fair enough.
I don't need to explain it. He's just been off.
Chat it can go. They got they're all over the place. I mean, this one's not for points, so we'll just sort of see.
Oh, that's the same person every time.
Yeah, well, Brad is a fair pick. There's a lot of Brads coming in.
No, it's a lot of Brads.
Yeah. I think that's valid.
Yep.
Danny, you have one?
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just gonna say Josh Berry. I know he's been fairly good at these kind of tracks this year, but I don't think this week.
I'm gonna take some low hanging fruit and go with Shane Van Gisbergen.
There was a lot of 88s in the chat, so that's valid.
All right, do you have and I know we blew through that kind of quick, Grant, but do you have an idea?
I didn't find what I was looking for, but
you can pick low hanging fruit if you want.
I don't like the low hanging fruit suck picks. I'm just not a fan of it. I like to get a little outside the box. Give me Chase Elliott to be the worst Hendrick car.
Ooh, that's them's fighting words.
I think
it is.
I mean, if you look at laps led this season, he is the worst. So
can we have a little brief fight segment here where I get in a lot of trouble with the chat? Jared, you want to flash that Hendrick Motorsports graphic up there?
Yeah, I believe I have it. Let's see. Is this it? Yep.
Oh yeah. This is I posted this on Twitter a while back. This is going to become an auto racing analytics video at some point. But if we just look at the makeup of all of the Hendrick drivers.
He said Pac-Man. That's true.
Larson usually is the Pac-Man in that he's giant all the way around, but then his crashing is just atrocious. And so then we have Byron, who's just a little bit slower to pick up the pieces. That's what I was talking about before. And then we have Bowman, who's actually a good bit faster than Chase Elliott, and he restarts better. And then we have Chase, who's the slowest of the Hendrick cars. And I think there's something missing, and I hate to break it to you, everybody. The crew chief ain't the only part of the problem. That's all I'm going to leave it at.
Ooh. Oh, you can't leave him
There's
on
the
that.
fighting words. We're
just going to have to wait. But I got a breakdown on the way, mid-season-ish. So.
You know what I just noticed about that graphic? Bowman looking so bad in defending, and I'm like, yep. Even his Xfinity race at Phoenix, he couldn't defend Eric Almirola. He couldn't defend Kyle Larson. Yep, he probably could have a win right now if he was better at that.
I would say that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. I do have it on you, Grant, because I'm curious now. When it comes to like last 10 or so, or like quarter of the race, whatever it is, when it comes to like retaining positions over that time, is Bowman and Elliott kind of on the lower end of that?
I don't have anything like that. I do have a fourth quarter speed metric.
That works.
I've got Chase Elliott as the 10th fastest car in the fourth quarter, and Bowman is the 11th fastest car.
So right on top of each other.
So right on top of each other. But I prefer to use optimal lap because I think that's a better projection of what the car's full potential was. But median lap rank is across like the whole race. So
it's so difficult to have like a real nuanced Chase Elliott conversation because like he is fourth in points. And so it's like, I've noticed the last few weeks, I think his fans are getting frustrated with the lack of laps led running up front. Like the speed is clearly behind. Even if the results are decent, it's like the speed is not there. So I'm starting to see fans sort of, come to grips with the fact that some major shakeups may be necessary. But it is hard to like you don't want to blow it up when you're fourth in points, but maybe they will have to do that.
They grind out the good finishes, but like at some point I sit there and I'm a big guy of it's not about the result, it's about the performance. Like results are great, but results are not everything. Like we can talk about the point standings. At the end of the day, point standings isn't really it's not going to win you the championship. Like to win the championship, you're going to need to have raw speed. And so that's why I have performance metrics. And at the end of the day, the 9 car's it's just not as fast as the other 100 cars. Actually, if you notice, so behind me, I have the whole field up here. And I have these in order of the fastest cars per Auto Racing Analytics' optimal lap. And we'll notice, this is Hocevar right here. He's ahead of Chase. We've got a Carson Hocevar faster than Chase Elliott this season so far, which is just wild.
That's super interesting. That's good stuff.
I was thinking there had to be a meaning for the way these cars
there's a meaning for everything. Danny.
I thought you were like a big drafty car fan and we're just recreating the game behind
I was like, there's something very specific about this. This is for a reason.
There always is.
Blue Jimmy fan is like, that's an actual chart in the chat. That's funny.
We haven't even hit the dark horse picks.
Oh yeah, we got to get to dark horses. Sorry.
That was
good. That was the most analytical that suck pick segment we've had. We call it the suck pick because we kind of throw that segment away. But this week we actually had a good conversation there.
And side note, here I am
Chase
saying
is going to grind out a top 5 anyway, and it won't matter.
Here I am saying Cup Cycle is going to be Josh Berry, and who do you see in the front right there?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes further.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I feel
Damn, he's
better.
buried back there.
I feel better.
Yeah.
dark horse. Grant, we'll start with you on this unless you want to go last again.
No, sounds good. I was gonna go with Chris Buescher because they picked him for a top 10 because he's the 5th fastest car on 40
It's a good
lap
one.
runs on intermediate tracks. But
I think
that's
Chad
kind of a
agrees with
layup.
you. No, Chad
So,
agrees with you with Busher.
Okay.
So that's I mean, he almost won this race last year and was really good at tech.
if it was a layup, I was gonna take Hocevar. So whatever. you
Both
want.
solid picks, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Well, I'm gonna stick with the. Are you going with Busher then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna stick with because the chat seems to be going Busher. I'm gonna go with Busch because Kyle Busch ran up front both races last year. It's one of the few places they actually showed real speed. It seemed spun at the end of both races too. So I wouldn't be surprised if the 8 gets a top 10. Could be a top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Oh wait, sorry. Chat goes first, don't they?
They already got
took Busher.
Okay. I don't know why, but I feel good about Cole Custer. I think he's going to remind us that he's still there.
Grant slowly turns his camera to show the very back of his chart. Do you even have a Cole Custer diecast?
I'm not going to say.
Oh my God, is that him in last?
He's not going to do it often.
I don't have Cody Ware and I don't have Shane. I'm missing a couple, but he's the last one I got. I don't have Ty Dillon either. So
again, I'm not saying he's going to make this a habit, but he's going to remind us this weekend that he still exists.
I'm going to go with. It's my turn. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs as my dark horse pick. I think he's shown a lot more speed the last few weeks. Texas, I know the tire wear and everything's not exactly the same as Kansas, but he probably had I don't know, he had a top 5 car. It's hard to judge the way that Texas race was going, but he was en route to a top 5, top 10 finish before that green flag pit cycle didn't go his way. So I like Ty Gibbs. Toyota's been strong here in the past. That's my dark horse pick. But now it's time for the main event. Who is going to win the Advent Health 400 at Kansas Speedway? Auto Racing Analytics, we will start with you. No pressure.
I'm sorry, guys. It's a layup. It's a layup again. Fastest car on intermediate tracks on 30-lap runs this year. The fastest car per optimal lap rank on all tracks this year. Also, he has a median lap rank on intermediate tracks on intermediate tracks this year that rivals Corey Heim. It's a 1.3, which is just insane.
That's
Kyle
actually
Larson's you got to pick Kyle Larson to Kansas. It's a layup.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick.
I didn't even have him towards the top of my list because I assumed he was going to be gone.
I'll go with the guy that's been getting faster at Kansas, lead more laps, at least the last time around, pretty good amount of halves in general. And I just have plenty of faith in him. There's a reason he was also my $5 pick on my team with Larson. I'll go Christopher Bell.
Oh, I did not have Bell on my list.
I
I'm a
did
little
not
surprised.
either.
I'm surprised by that
something.
pick. Wow. All right, chat.
Remember 2311 was a little off last year.
And I think the chat was starting to pivot because they thought someone was going to be gone.
Don't say that, Jarrett. Chat looks like they're going with Tyler Reddick.
They're going Reddick.
I think that's risky. I do think Reddick's a little risky. I didn't have Reddick in my top 5 either, and that might be my fault, but I don't know.
I did have Tyler Reddick as my thing.
I'm getting excited. My number 2 and 3 pick are still on the board. I'm going to get one of them.
I have Reddick as the 2nd fastest car on intermediate tracks this year, or no, 3rd fastest on intermediate tracks.
He was weird. He was weird at Homestead though, and I guess I just look at that.
Scary. Yeah,
that's the only reason I'm like I could see like Reddick's a fine pick, but I wouldn't have put him in my top 3 or 4 just because Homestead made me Darlington. He was great. Texas, he was really fast. Sure, but Homestead made me nervous. And last year, weren't the 2311 cars a little off at both Kansas races?
They were
just strained, not terrible, just a little off.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, Reddick, not bad, not bad. Danny, you're up.
You guys can have Tyler Reddick. And even though I think all the cars will lead a lap at some point, I think their boss, Denny Hamlin, will win the race.
Okay.
Fair call.
And I get my 3rd choice, and that is Ryan Blaney. I'm just going to hope that this race doesn't end in overtime or with a short run, because if it's a long run, we know Ryan Blaney is going to be tough to beat. unless Kyle Larson is up front. I guess it could come down to the two of them.
It's going to be a win or a fifth DNF.
Let's hope not. Yeah, this is a big gamble. So, like we talked about this earlier with our pick points, I'm leading the points, but I have the fewest race win picks of anyone. I just keep picking like the second place guy. I'm like Matt Kensething the field to death like it's 2003. So this is me taking a big risk. I'm going for it with Blaney. I'm either finishing first or last. There's no in between, but we'll risk it. I feel good about YRB this Sunday.
A few people in the chat, actually a fair amount of people in chat, are honestly not happy about their pick. They're like, one person said, Cito Brown said, I guess y'all don't want to win your third championship, do you, chat?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of 45s earlier. I'm literally scrolling back.
I mean, that was majority. That was majority, but I don't think they're necessarily happy about that. Who was? Someone said
talked them out of it.
Spencer Purcell said, "Well, congrats, chat. You blew it. You picked an avoid pick according to NASCAR Fantasy."
Dang. Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, I think Reddit could easily be a top 5 car this weekend, but
Yeah.
you know, that's sure it's a risky pick, I guess. But Kansas is going to be a fun race this weekend. That is going to do it for our pick segment. Gentlemen, it's time we wrap things up with our final super chat stage break. Let's keep up with what our viewers have been saying over the past hour or so. Then we'll get out of here until next Wednesday. From Will Griffin here, $5 super chat says Texas, that's how he spells it, needs to go back to the 2016 config. Only being able to use half the track is not good racing. That turn 4 bump needs to go, in my opinion. I don't know if there's a way they could grind it out, but if you grind that bump out, you might lose the character of this track, which I don't know. The sketchiness is kind of its identity at this point. Will also had a question here for you, Grant. Says, would all the HMS or TRD aligned allied teams not saving fuel be able to beat teams who do save fuel at super speedways? I can't stand fuel saving racing. It looks sexy to the casuals, though.
I saw that super chat earlier, so I was thinking about it. So let me preface this. I'm not an engineer, but all the conversations I've had with engineers and my gauge on the field says no, that would not work. The reason being the cars have way too much drag. Like, you can go full throttle, you'll just pull the whole field with you. Like, you can't actually get away. That's why we can't make any moves on super speedways. We got to peel drag out of the cars, like, because when you pull out by yourself, you have a giant parachute on the back and there is no run because it just dies immediately. We got to take drag out.
I mean, we saw at Talladega, the Toyotas, there was like 7 or 8 of them lined up going full throttle and they could not separate from the rest of the pack.
It's not possible.
Chris McIntyre says Chris Wright for fan vote for the All-Star race. Some call him a chicane, some call him a moving wreck, but what better way to spice up the race? Gosh, yeah, the Chris Wright. We are not invited into Chris Wright's holler next time we're at the track. Zinthroth says, last time I was here, I called Jones the GOAT. Then he gets a top 5. We are eating good top 5, baby. Lots of fire emojis. Then from Daniel Meredith Jr., add a strip of asphalt on the top at Texas like they did at 08 Pocono race. I don't remember the 08 Pocono race. Did that go horribly wrong?
It was like a grip strip that they could use different lines.
I remember the PJ1 strips in like 2020, 2021, and let's just say the results were mixed. There's some bad, some good.
It was new asphalt in one lane. I believe there's like damage underneath the track or something like that. I can't remember the exact specifics, but it made a grip strip. So like there were a lot of people, you'd see them in the corner take the optimal line on the bottom that they normally took. And then you see a bunch of people just like go right up next to the wall. Back in the day, that used to be the old Dale Jr. line. It was actually pretty interesting right before the repave. Okay.
If they ever do reconfigure Texas again, just please add some progressive banking, a la Kansas, a la Homestead. I don't know. Justin Drake, if teams agreed to NASCAR saying they could bring any car to the All-Star race, they bring Gen 6 cars and it'd be 10 times better than any next gen race. The next gen would be slower. I'm sorry, the Gen 6 would be slower than the next gen at a short track. I would believe with less, unless the horsepower is dramatically different, but with less tire, I imagine the grip would be less, which means the racing would be better, but they would lose to the next gen cars. Daniel Meredith Jr. says Texas is only fun on NASCAR Thunder 2003. It was fun on a lot of the old video games. High banked, high speeds, could just go. AC18, will Chase Elliott ever win again? I'm concerned. What do you guys think?
Come on, he'll win again.
At some point, yes.
I don't know.
People said the same thing about Dale Jr., and he was doing remarkably worse.
Let's not forget he opened a season winning, so
He'll win again, but one of my predictions was almost that he's done winning championships. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah, that could be tougher. Garabuki says, run 17th on average, win a whack race where everyone better than you wrecks or gets screwed over with a yellow and a green flag cycle. Be good for only 10 races or less a year. Become a 3-time champion. Safe to say they are poking holes in Joey Logano's legacy here. Daniel Meredith Jr. with another super chat says, I'm excited to see how Prime will operate. Also, how will they handle the start times due to bad weather? Will they start even earlier? And will they waste time like Fox did last year for the Coke 600? Yeah, having kind of an unlimited broadcast window with Prime will make delays more, hopefully better, like less intrusive, I suppose.
Well,
I guess we'll
I know
see.
NASCAR's policy, no matter what, is that they need 24 hours before they can move it back like a half hour to an hour. So I feel like they'd have more freedom there. The big one is like if you take that problem of a TV window out, you're just basically only having to work with the local area and their ordinance codes. And at that
Yeah.
point, like they could probably race till 4 a.m. if they had the ability.
Yeah, if the locals will allow them. Yeah, you're right. Fred Dog 81 with a 2-part super chat here. Part 1, no super speedways and road courses for finale is good, but I'm concerned that short tracks would be included. Don't get me wrong, I like tracks like Martinsville, but bad race quality and shenanigans over the past several years make me believe they're a bad choice to end the season on. Thoughts? I think Danny, you gave your thoughts saying let's give them 5 years to fix the car, fix whatever, and then maybe Bristol would be a great championship venue. I kind of agree with your take.
Not anytime soon. But likewise, I don't even think we touched on this. It's definitely got to be split. SMI's got to get some portion of that. You can't keep that locked into ISC forever.
They said, I think they said they're Ben Kennedy said that they're open to it.
Yeah, I think he worded it as all options are on the table or something like that. But it's not confirmed. It's not denied.
Yeah. Daniel Meredith Jr., another, says, I was born in Temple, Texas. Texas needs a little work. Okay, being honest. Fair enough. Andrew Winslow says, in honor of May the 4th, Chris Wright's punishment is to be thrown down the third Death Star reactor shaft, or he can watch The Acolyte. Isn't that one of the...
There were only 2 Death Stars. We don't count that Disney fan fiction.
Isn't that isn't The Acolyte on Disney Plus? Isn't that, as you would say, Disney fan fiction?
Yeah, it's good fan fiction at least.
Oh, okay. All right, there we go.
I've heard it's pretty good from people that like
Star Wars. I'm not okay. All right.
Alessandro
Sebastian says, happy to see Grant on the show tonight. One of my favorite guests from last year, or as Jimmy Johnson refers to you as, the president of numerology.
I can't say I've ever been referred to by Jimmy Johnson.
I had to have given you like a cool title or something. Like that's like their whole thing is cool titles. That's funny. Another one from Daniel Meredith, very generous tonight, chiming in plenty in the chat here. Danny, you should make a train and call it the Danny Ice Groovy Super Train and then paint it all of our colors. Have a great night, guys. Thank you, Daniel.
Real quick, for Danny B Trains.
Earlier, did you say Andor or Acolyte?
Acolyte.
Oh, I heard that one was trash. I thought you were talking about Andor for a second. I'm tired. Yeah, no. I heard that was trash, but
Andor is good. Okay, there's a lot of Star Wars content out there.
That's the thing. I don't follow it anymore, so like I just heard an A, and I'm like, oh, that one.
Thomas Jacques with the 5 said with like song lyrics. Everybody's got a baby kangaroo. I don't know if these lyrics are suggestive or what. It says yours is pink, but mine is blue. Don't know what that song is. Don't know what it's referring to. But yes, Kangaroo on the broadcast stole the show Sunday. Gavin Adcock, I wouldn't be against replacing Texas with Kentucky. Oh, now we're getting crazy. Also bring back Chicagoland. Okay, Jarrett, you can nod to that part. You can, throw your thumbs up there. BGWX Chasing, Danny and Jarrett, did either of you attend the Metallica concert at Nissan Stadium? I went both days, and it was awesome. Thanks for another great show tonight.
I heard about it, but if it wasn't for the fact that Jarrett has a lot going on and I had a lot going on, I probably would have asked him, hey, this is in town last second. Do you want to look for a ticket? But we both just had way too much going on.
Yeah, we're so busy right this time of year, but I'd heard about it. Like I actually turned on the radio when I was driving back and forth at one point, and it was one of the commercials on one of the rock radio stations around here. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. What do I got? Oh, the whole day and stuck doing stuff.
Yeah, Metallica is one of the like few bands out there that I still feel like I need to see live sooner rather than later. That's like on my bucket list. Justin Drake with a very generous super chat a short bit ago. Ford, the only manufacturer to not give in completely to the 2024 government pressure and the government pushing everyone to go electric and drop their muscle cars. Shame on Dodge and Chevrolet. Take your vacuum cleaners elsewhere. Ooh,
I like that one.
I thought we heard that Dodge was bringing like the Hemi V8 engines back. I think they might be bringing the Charger back in some form or fashion. It was retired for a couple of years.
I mean,
damn,
Something like that.
technically, Toyota, who was one of the like leaders of hybrid technology for a long time and still are, to even change the Camry to hybrid, they saw that and said, "All right, we'll make enough hybrids, and then we're just going to partner with Mercedes, BMW, whichever one it was. And we're going to make the Super. Super is back. We got a muscle car. Here it is, guys. Look at it."
The Supra still looks so unnatural in the Xfinity series. I'm sorry. Daniel Meredith Jr. says Kansas will end like Atlanta, side by side. Caution. Oh, come on. No, we cannot have another race under caution. Don't put that evil on us, Daniel. Garabuki says, and said, no, he said for the 5. Garabuki Garabuki said that he donated 5 and the donation, just like doing a tongue twister. They're making me sound crazy. I read that word for word, by the way. That's exactly how it's written. Thank you, Garabuki, I think. Ryan Boucher, which tracks are on your bucket list that you've never gone to? The only 2 tracks I've gone to are Pocono and Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen's on my bucket list, probably the top of my list of current Cup tracks that I've not been to. What about you guys?
Ooh, that's a good
I guess since I'm planning to go there, it's Dover. I'm going there this year, so
That'll be fun.
God, I've been so many tracks now. I'm trying to think of the ones I haven't been to. I mean, I guess Atlanta. You know, it'd be
Atlanta would
interesting
be
to
up
see
there.
in person.
I've not seen
Atlanta would
either.
be your easiest one to cross off.
As a fan, yeah.
Get her done.
For me, it's got to be Bristol and Southern 500.
Both great choices.
Yeah.
Blake, we're getting into the home stretch here. Blake says, surprised no one took Blaney in the team game. I was a bit surprised by that as well. I almost did. It's just, I think he was in the $5 range?
Mm-hmm.
That made it a little tough. That's tough.
When you're trying to balance it all out and you have Kyle Larson and you got to consider everything else.
Blaney can't restart. His restarts are real sketchy, and so I think he's a great value at $4, but to put him up there with Larson is crazy.
I think that's accurate. Fred Dog 81 says we're tempting fate with the right hate. Watch him get a Mickey win like Sammy Smith the next race after the top 36 get DQ'd 3 hours later because NASCAR.
Top 36 get DQ'd.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So mean. I love it.
By the way, it's crazy. I keep refreshing this every now and again. A few reviews will get deleted, but there's still 11 on here.
Who is this?
And it has an overall rating now of 4.9. Someone gave him a 4-star review.
Oh, that's even more offensive than like a 1-star review, in my opinion.
Yeah, the 4-star review was Matthew. I can't pronounce his last name. It starts with S. Only positive thing was free sheet metal. That was his 4-star review.
Oh my god!
Sounds like a 5-star to me. Dom Goblin, hell of a day. Flew down at 5 a.m., got to the track at 8, stayed until the checkered, and booked it to the airport. Got to the gate with 5 minutes left, home by 2 a.m. Danny, you've done something similar like that in Texas.
Yes, but not to that extent. I didn't get there with 5 minutes of spare. Oh my gosh.
Cutting it close, Dom Goblin.
Well, to be fair, I was Coda, and that's like right next to the airport. So that one I can understand a little bit more, depending on if you had to fly out of DFW or if you flew out of Love Field.
Dom Goblin follows that up with, I've seen Logano win 4 times in person. I'm still mad. Jay Tinzel, how many times have you woke up and been excited the sun came out? Me. Mother's Day is on Sunday, so get your Capri Suns ready, boys, because I don't even know what this means. I'm not going to read it because I don't want to incriminate myself, but I'm glad. I like that first sentence. Excited that you woke up and the sun came out. Every day is a great day to be alive, as they say.
Wait, with Capri Sun and Mother's Day, I can kind of understand what direction they might be going.
I can't, so I will stop right there.
You'll understand when you're older.
Sounds like it. Dallas Moran, thank you for the 5. Hey, Eric, I'm going to Texas in a few weeks. Going to be around DFW. Any recommendations to eat or do? Oh, man, that's a lot of pressure considering I'm still fairly new to the area myself. DFW is huge. There's a lot of great food options. Obviously, the Texas stuff, like anything Tex-Mex, anything barbecue, is going to be fantastic. Oh, man, I mean, I'm trying to think of any other like more specific recommendations, but it's hard to do without knowing what part of Dallas you're in. Danny knows when he flew here about a year ago. He landed at the airport, which is north of the city, drove even further north to where I live, and then asked, like, "Are we still in downtown?" And I'm like, "But the downtown was south. Like, it's huge. There's a lot of pockets of like buildings and city stuff."
You just drive until you get to Prosper, and you'll finally not see buildings on every square inch.
Yeah, you hit Prosper, or you hit like kind of where the racetrack is on the other side, like further west, and that's like when it kind of stops a little bit. But yeah, it's busy. But now have fun. It's funny that your name is Dallas and you're coming to DFW and you're asking for recommendations. I mean, it's in your name. I think your heart will tell you where to go. Is what I'm thinking.
And in somehow, some way, like as much as I love fishing and stuff, there's like 5 massive lakes all around Dallas. Somehow that would be like fisherman's dream being there. Actually,
I stumbled. My friend and I were in Fort Worth a few weeks back just to hang out, get lunch, and vibe. And it happened to be the same weekend as the Bassmaster Classic, I think, was in town. It had a whole convention and everything. And I was like texting Danny, and I think we talked about this on the show, but I was like texting Danny, like, what is all this stuff?
We did. He's like, do you know who this person is? Yeah, you're just looking at the Richard Petty of bass fishing right now.
Walked right past him. He had a big line of people ready to asking for autographs, but I was like, I don't know who he is, but I'll find out. Texting Danny. Groovy Goose says the day Kurt Busch gets inducted into the hall, I want Jimmy Spencer to induct him. Imagine the speech. That would be
that'd be awesome. He'd be like, "Son of a bitch, I left your dad." Oh, sorry, I'm talking to Kurt, not Dale Jr.
Will Griffin with the Chase Elliott profile pic says, "Thanks, Grant. I'm disappointed, but love you, dude."
Thank you.
Fred Dog says, "Would you guys try the Texas Twinkie like Eric did? It looks good, but also looks like massive heartburn. It does sit heavy in your gut, but it's not too spicy. It's really not that spicy. It's just heavy."
If I can be home within 6 hours and sit on my porcelain throne, because I know that's going to go right through me, and it's just going to be bam.
Yeah, I recommend it. Yeah, if whoever said they're going to DFW, there's Roy Hutchins Barbecue and a couple other Hutchins spin-off barbecue places. If you're looking for Texas barbecue, been there twice now recently. Very good. Highly recommend.
I think I'm trying to confirm. I think when we were there for your wedding, we went to, I think it was Hutchins Barbecue, and that was pretty darn good.
Yeah, definitely recommend. It's solid. There's like 3 or 4 around town. Alessandro, which starting 5 drivers all time would you choose in your personal lineup? For me, not in order, I'd pick 98 Jeff Gordon, 87 Dale Sr., 67 Richard Petty, 68 David Pearson, and 76 Cale Yarborough. Damn, the years.
God,
like get them at the peak of their careers. That's very specific, Alessandro. We'd have to think about that one for a bit.
I'll just give mine. Nobody has to give theirs. I know mine. It's 06 through 2010 Jimmy, all of them.
Just 5 of those.
Yeah, just give me 5 Jimmy Johnsons. I
love that. That's funny. That's a good one. Shoot, yeah, definitely there'd be a version of Jimmy, a version of Jeff, probably a version of Dale. I mean, what was the year Richard Petty won 27 races? Team him and Dale Inman up, and I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, but that was like when they had fields of like 15 cars.
But he still won 27 races, and I'm saying, like, can I get the crew chief with him and the innovation, the forward thinkingness?
I'll take. Yeah. I don't know what year, whatever his peak year is, though. Replace Petty with Pearson. David Pearson is amazing.
No, Pearson is a good pick as well. I honestly, Alessandro's 5 is really hard to beat. Final super chat. Appreciate you all sticking with us tonight. I know it's been a long night, but it's been a good time. Groovy Goose says, Eric, what's your take on Texas chili without beans? It's good because I don't love too many beans in my chili to begin with. But like most Texas cuisine, it is heavy. It sits in you for a while. All good things in moderation. Could say that about most of their barbecue, Tex-Mex, so on and so forth. But it's delicious. I like it. That's it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking with us. Grant, especially you. It's great to have you back on the show this week. Thanks for sticking with us tonight. And I don't think I totally forgot to put the link in the chat, but I will add it here in a moment. Yes, you have a YouTube channel now. You posted that great video a couple weeks back that we referenced earlier. So it sounds like you have plans for more videos. Where can people find all of your auto racing analytics work?
Yeah, so first thing is going to be the website, autoracinganalytics.com. You can see all the data that I post and that I make. Use code NWP for first month to be $1. I have a YouTube channel now. I'm messing around with that a little bit. It's pretty time consuming, so I just kind of, when I have a good idea, we'll throw something together. I got 3 videos on there right now. I think they're okay-ish. Watch them if you want.
They're pretty good. I think for your first 3 videos, they're pretty strong.
I appreciate that. And then I've also got the Twitter that I think most people know about right now, and it should be AR_analytics for both the YouTube and the Twitter. But
I know for a fact I have your Twitter in the description. I will add the YouTube channel as soon as we go off the air for everyone to find.
Sweet.
But yeah, man, really appreciate you spending some time with us, sharing your great insight, and can't wait to see how the auto racing analytics project continues to expand this year and beyond. It's really cool to see what you're
Thank you
building.
guys so much for having me. I look forward to this every year. It's a blast, and we made it again. It's a marathon.
It is. I know it's not for the faint of heart. But we appreciate your time. We appreciate you hanging out. Jarrett, Danny, as always, good to see you guys. We'll be back next week on the Icebergs YouTube channel. That link is down in the description below. Wednesday, May 14th, we'll talk Kansas, get y'all ready for All-Star Weekend at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and we'll cover the latest news, rumors, and other good stuff. So thank you all for listening. On behalf of the Chris Wright Talent Memorial in Turn 4 at Texas Motor Speedway, this is NASCAR Weekly Podcast signing off. We'll see you next week.
Drivers, start your
3, 2, 1. Green flag.
Started off right now. Right on, come on.
Clean outside.
3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Where you playing? We're going. I like the aggression. Dude, let me drop the great car. You can go tell all those guys up there they can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to
See you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Come in the white. Hello. Come back on him.
That was incredible.